Oh man, I'm still singing the fucking songs from yesterday. I was like, wow, I need to buy a ukulele, man. That was it. The fucking ukulele hammer-on solos that were being performed by Scott were just fucking totally inspirational. I loved it. You know, you meet people in this field, some good, you know, a lot of fucking weirdos, and we all know that. But then you meet the people that are totally driven in the field and want to see you do good and applaud the things that you do. And that's how I came across Landon Wells, our guest tonight. He is part of the Paranormal Response Team. Now, you probably heard my commercial where I get all professional. I don't even say fucking it or anything. But, you know, I came across him, and he's just this very good-hearted person. He's very passionate in the field, and that shit is contagious. And I think that the paranormal community needs more of that, you know. There's no real tear down or beat downs, you know. Somebody else does something, he, you know, says, hey, good job, or, you know. So we became friends, man, and he's a really good cat. We're gonna do some hunting in the future. But Landon Wells of Paranormal Response Team, thanks for coming, dude. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dave, thanks for having me, man. It's an honor to be on your show.
We're gonna start swearing and everything here in a minute, but yeah, before we went live, man, we were talking a little bit about everything, but. Before we get into the response team and stuff, let's talk about what drew you into the field. What was it, man? Like, was you just one day fucking just decided that you were going to do this thing, or did something happen?
You know, it's crazy. Like, as I look, I knew you were going to ask this question. So as I look back into it, you know, growing up, I never really had anyone even talk to me about ghosts or spirits or, you know, none of that. My family has nothing to do with that. But when I was about like 10 years old, I went through kind of like an episode of like sleep paralysis, right?
Right. And
it scared the living crap out of me. Like, I still to this day, that is probably the most scariest thing I've ever went through.
Like you were like,
so from that,
like you were kind of, you were the paralysis, you were waking up from dreams and just not able to move or kind of shit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, I literally felt like I was getting held down by something to where, I mean, I'm a 10-year-old kid. I was laying in bed, like in my mind, like trying to scream as loud as I could for my dad to come in to the room, you know?
Wow.
Like, not knowing that would actually help anything, but I just wanted anybody to come in, because I felt like in that moment, like I was going to be completely paralyzed for the rest of my life or something, you know? Like, it was, yeah, it's terrifying. And so, you know, after that, I actually went through that twice. Once when I was about 10, and then probably about a year later, it happened again, very in the same way almost.
Right.
And then since that moment, like, I had literally never had a dream since. I can't remember any dreams anymore. But that, I'm telling you, man, that was so real and so scary.
Right.
And so, you know, as I started talking to people about that and like doing a little research on it and whatnot, it just kind of led me into the field, into, you know, just diving into what is the paranormal, what are ghosts. You know, like I said, I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
So
that's
really kind of how I got into it.
See, the same for me, man. I mean, I don't know if I've ever told anybody this, but I remember having a similar situation where I lived in Queens, New York. That's where I was raised, I'm a Miami boy, but I was raised in Queens. And I remember having this dream where it was like my dad was like real mad at me in my dream, and he's like, so he basically transformed into this thing that it was like my dad turned into this big huge black fucking mass shadow figure, right? And as I woke up to freaking out from the dream, I was laying there and I was just petrified. I couldn't move, and I was awake and I saw the shadow fucking go through the wall.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Oh, dude. I mean, I was awake and I saw that. I mean, I remember rubbing my eyes going, what the heck just happened? You know what I mean? I was a little kid, but I mean, that shit is intense. So, I mean, it starts early for people,
Yep.
Little things like that, like with Brian Holloway, you listen to his story and, he's got some fucking intense stories about things that he saw when he was a kid. And that's all going into his book and stuff. But I don't want to give anything away. But I mean, he's got it starts young for people that it's almost like it's implanted in you at a young age, and then as you grow older, you just kind of rediscover it.
Yep, and I really think like it takes like that moment of you seeing your dad do that, or me go through what I went through, to really take it seriously. You know what I mean? Because all of it's a lot of theory, right? There's nothing that's really proven out there. But, once you have an experience like that or something similar, that's when you really dive into trying to figure out what is it.
Right. So you have your situations when you're younger. And how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 25. I'll turn 26 in November.
So you're still like fucking, you're still way young. You don't know.
Young buck.
You don't know what it's like to put the fucking WD-40 on to get out of bed, but believe me,
no, not yet.
It's coming, bro. It's coming.
Hey, but I'm balding already, so I got that going on.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Fucking, that works a lot for fucking like Bruce Willis, dude. I mean, check him out, dude. I mean, he's made
right.
But so you come up, man, and you decide that you're gonna go full into the paranormal. What was it that really said, I want to do this?
Well, again, it was all just an interest at that age, and then once I turned 18, up until that point, through that, it was really just kind of like researching it or whatnot, and then Ghost Adventures came out, right. And I started watching that. I mean, that's where everybody started, right? So,
right.
I mean, yeah, they're like the pioneers of getting the paranormal out to this, the younger community that's out here right now.
I love how people in the community that are there, I've been doing this for 20 years, blah, blah, trying to totally discredit any type of television show. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't watch any of that stuff to get involved in this, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. That's what I say to you. Bullshit. You saw something somewhere, whether it was The Exorcist or something. You saw something that influenced you to want to fuck with this shit. Because you got to be a little bit off. And, with all, like how the world is such a mess right now with racism and all that shit. One of the things I want to say about the paranormal community, man, is, I mean, I really honestly think it's one of the most wholehearted communities. It's backstabbing. Yeah, they'll tear you down, but they'll never tear you down for the color or what type of person you are. They'll tear you down for the evidence you get. You know
yes,
what I mean?
Exactly. You hit it right on the head, man.
It's like you won't see anybody go, well, I'm not going to that plantation because there were slaves there. I'm not going to investigate slave ghosts. No way. You don't ever hear anybody say that in this field. It's like people are very open-minded and very open-hearted. And I think you have to be to accept the things that you're trying to accept happen. Hey, this application just called my name out. Am I fucking crazy, or is this possibly happening? Yeah, you have to be open to things. And, like you can hear it, in the sincerity of your voice, man, is, you are very, very passionate about this thing. And you make a killer fucking pizza. Saw you on TV.
I'm glad you saw that, man. Yeah. I've been working really hard to get to where I'm at making pizza right now. And I never thought, looking back as a kid, that I would be making pizza for a living. But, I work for a company where I open restaurants all the time for them. So I've
Right.
opened like 42 restaurants now.
So you just travel all over the place and open up for these guys.
Yeah, man. I traveled the entire country nonstop. I'm actually in Savannah, Georgia right now.
Yeah, I saw your
out
live feed last night that you were doing, and I was like, man, this. I mean, you see, so you live in the perfect lifestyle because your job lets you travel around, and when you go to these places, you're able to investigate too, as well. So
exactly.
I mean,
that's the best part, man.
That's a win-win.
You know, they pay for it.
So, do you mind if I ask? Are folks religious? Do they have a strong background? Because most Southern people, obviously, you're Southern. I did drop out of detective school, but you got that twang. So
yeah, well, thanks for noticing. My parents are definitely religious. You know, I grew up in a Baptist church. You go every Sunday, every Wednesday,
right,
whatnot. And then probably when I was about 12 years old, they switched over to go into like a Church of Christ church. And again, I still, all the way up until I was like 18, I was going every single day. In fact, when I was in high school, I actually worked for a church as a youth intern. So,
yeah, I mean,
I was just really interested in religious studies and whatnot. So when I actually went to college, I went to college for youth and family ministry so that I could try to understand why people. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. It sounds crazy.
No, it's cool, baby.
What I do.
Because it cements the fact. I mean, you have to have some type. You remember that movie Leap of Faith with Steve Martin? Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I think I have.
Well, he was a con man, but he had turned into a minister, and he was going around and they traveled around in the bus.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Doing all this stuff, and then there's a scene in the movie where the sheriff comes in. It's fucking Qui-Gon Jinn. Well, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that played fucking Qui-Gon in Star Wars comes in and he's like, hey, here's the real guy, and he reads off his rap sheet. And he's like, he's been arrested for this, he's done this wrong, and he's done that. And like in perfect fucking, in the perfect screenplay, Steve Martin flips it. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I have sinned. I have done all these terrible, horrible things. But would you want to learn from somebody on how not to be a sinner if you haven't ever sinned? If that person's never sinned, how are you going to learn from them? So, I mean, little messages like that in the movie are cool. But in your case, it's almost a reverse effect because you have the knowledge, what it takes, and the spiritual side of it to try to make communication.
Exactly. And the whole reason that I went to a private Christian university where I have tons of debt from it. But the whole reason I did that is because I really wanted to dive in and try to understand why these people believe so hard in what they're putting out through the Bible. Like, how do you, I just couldn't wrap my head around it enough to understand how they can be so hardcore about it. You know what I mean? So
we also talked a little about, before we went live, about Steve Huff and how his followers, I mean, these people are fucking serious about Steve Huff. I mean, Steve Huff can't do anything wrong. And I'm not ragging on Steve Huff. I'm just saying that his followers, I may be ragging on you because you're a little bit fucking gullible. I mean, I almost consider Steve Huff's followers like Davidians. Like, like no matter what he says, like if he comes back from his fucking vacation or whatever he's doing and he says that he's fucking Jesus, I don't think he's going to lose too many of his followers. I really think, they're diehard, dude. I mean, they're just so diehard. But speaking of Huff, you yourself have decided to build your own things, but you actually build things.
No, absolutely. I don't just go on Amazon and buy guitar pedals and an amplifier and put it together.
So one of the things, I watch a lot of Ghost Adventures myself, man. I'm totally entertained by the show. I don't like it as much as I used to. I feel kind of like I'm watching a horror movie this season for some reason. Every episode is like The guys are running around screaming, going a little bit nuts. And I just, for doing it as long as they have, you don't think that they would have quite that type of reaction. But, you see what's going on in the field. You see how that, they're going out, they're using these huge fucking, highly expensive items. And, you look at an SLS camera and they're just ridiculous. The average ghost hunter, even the average team couldn't scrape enough together to buy one of those things. So
right, yep, and it all comes from the TV show too.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like it's a moneymaker.
Like Bill Chappell. What do you think his bank account looks like?
I can only imagine the contract deal they have together for sure. Because Zach's making some money off that stuff too.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. The SB7, the biggest piece of shit in my box.
Right?
I
have like 5 of them, and I just want to give them to people.
I watch these people doing their fucking, their live feeds and everything, and there's that one dude standing there and just and he's standing there and he's fucking trying to look cool holding this thing, and he's demanding questions to be answered, and that's all I hear is
I seriously don't know how they even do that when they're filming the show. Like, how do you not want to pull your straight, perfectly stuck up hair out of your head?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And see, and when I ordered mine way back, I didn't get an external speaker for it. So,
oh, yeah.
Now, if anybody that owns one of these things, you fucking hear it. And on the show, it's just so loud. It's like a Van Halen concert in his hand, and the little tiny ass fucking cheap ass speaker that ain't even a watt loud. You turn it on and you got it up to your ear like you fucking rocking a ghetto blaster back in the early 80s and shit, trying to hear it. So, there is a lot of gear out there that, that is way overrated. And they were like, I think it was like $100 when I bought it. You know what I mean? It was like, fuck.
Yeah, I think when it first came out, it was like $120.
Yeah. So it was like, and I asked a lot of questions, man. I asked a lot of questions, and I never, ever got anything out of that thing.
Yeah, you got nothing but a headache from that, for sure.
Right. So obviously, things like that have driven you. You're highly educated. You're very smart with electronics because you've had to fix some things that have shown up to you. We won't say any names or anything, but you've had to repair some things, and when you open these things up, you just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to do it myself." And I think, and part of my language, I don't mean to swear a whole lot, but I do.
No, you're fine. You're not going to offend me. Trust me.
But it's like I see the passion that you have, and I know exactly where you're going, man. And like for your SLS camera that you sell, and I call it the SLS camera, but what's the proper?
Like everybody calls it an SLS camera because that's what Bill Chappell calls it, right? The structured light sensor camera.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's virtually just a Kinect sensor for an Xbox 360.
Right.
And it's just connected to a battery pack and a tablet. I just call mine a Kinect 3D mapping camera because that's what it is. Oh. It's a 3D mapping camera that maps out depth.
And I have one of these cameras, and dude, I remember when you sent me the video when you were testing it. Your place is extremely active.
I got a story about that. That is nuts.
Oh my God.
When people buy these cameras, when I very first started off, I made personalized videos with everybody's camera, walking them through, this is how you do this. This is what this program does. This is what this means. Because I'm really into that. I don't necessarily believe in just giving somebody a piece of equipment and just kind of letting them figure it out. I kind of want to walk them through it.
Right.
So I got yours back when I was doing everybody's personal videos. And I'm telling you, man, since I did your video with your camera, my house has never been the same. I have no clue what happened and why it was that one, but dude, you've seen the video. Like,
yeah,
I got them
saved.
Of things mapped
I got the videos downloaded and saved, dude. I was like, when you went in on the slide and that fucking figures went down the slide, I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you kidding me? You know,
Yeah.
because you know, as a fan of ghost television, I get to see that kind of technology on TV, but actually being able to hold it in your hand and go around the house or on location, I mean, that's a totally different vibe.
Yep, it is. And that's really kind of how I started with this whole equipment thing is, you know, you see all this stuff on TV or you see this stuff that Steve puts out or whatnot. I can only take that and digest it so much before I don't know if it's real or not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the type of person where I will go out and I will buy it. I went out, I bought Steve Huff's Wonder Box. I actually bought his Wonder Box Ultimate one, right?
Wow.
Back when that was the biggest thing that he had.
Right.
Because, like, if you're putting out stuff like that, like, it's very intriguing. For one, you may call me gullible because I'm the one that actually went out and bought it.
No, man. I mean, I don't blame people for buying it.
Yeah.
It's just that
I just can't go out and tell people that this works or this doesn't work unless I've tried it myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm always a big believer in, like, I have to experience it before I believe it, you know? And that's just kind of how I've always been.
Right. I mean, it's how, you know, you do you mind if I ask what you paid for the Wonder Box Ultra Edition with the crystals on top of it?
with the big copper handles that you hold on to.
Right.
I think I paid like $1,100 for it.
$1,100. I mean, that's
which is crazy because when I actually purchased this one, I actually bought this specific one because he made, I think 12 videos that he put out using this specific box. It was actually his personal box is what he called it.
All right.
I just happened to get on his website the minute he put it up. So I was the first one and I was like, oh, I'll take that one. You know what I mean? Because again, you have all these videos trying to back up what he's trying to sell.
Right.
So I wanted to see if I could get those results.
How was it? How was it testing it, man? I mean, give us the legit. I'm sure you did get responses because, you know, when you have knowledge on how to communicate with a spirit, it's going to come through. But I mean, you know, his responses versus reality, let's call it.
Yeah, and there really is a big difference, and everybody really needs to know that. I did get responses. I think I owned it for about 8 months before I sold it to somebody else. I did get a few responses at a few locations,
right.
And they were really interesting, but it was never anything like what you see in his videos. If you watch his videos, there's nothing but clear responses back to back to back, right? But when you actually use one, it's clear response, 20 minutes of nothing, clear response. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like the SB7, but without the static. It's just spitting out gibberish, right?
Right. So
I mean, really, I could hook up an app to a speaker and get the same effect as if what I was getting out of that portal. You know what I mean?
Right. That's where I'm at now with what I have. I have a Poltercom that's coming one of these days. Jeremy Jones, where's my goddamn Poltercom?
Jeremy.
But I've got a Poltercom coming. But as of right now, I just have a Bluetooth speaker. I actually use the G-Boom speaker. I bought it brand new for $100. I mean, and it's like 30 watts. It's plenty loud. Sounds great. It could stand a little bit of weather. You know, it doesn't. You don't have to worry so much about it. When you're carrying, you know, and with my Poltercom that's coming, I'm fucking worried about taking it out. You know what I mean?
Fragile.
These things are not cheap either. You know,
nope.
That's one of the reasons I don't like doing public ghost hunts, because I don't want my shit sitting out for some fucking rookie to come running by because they're scared and decide that my 360 on the floor isn't worth avoiding. You know,
right? I have not done a public hunt since I was probably like, I don't know, 14 or 15 years old. Again, when I was kind of researching it, I went to Waverly Hills Sanitarium with a couple members of my family, just doing, you know, the public hunts or whatever. Even back then, I didn't have any equipment.
Right.
I didn't really want equipment. I wanted to see it with my eyes, hear it with my ears.
Right.
Because I didn't even understand the equipment back then.
So with your family being religious, and they're obviously catching, you know, you're picking up a lot of steam, dude. You know, you're picking up a lot of steam. You know, your name's starting to pop all over the place. Are they on your Facebook? Do they pay attention to the things that you do? You know, how do they feel about it?
You know, they pay attention to it. Actually, my mother just made a comment right before I came down to Savannah. She's like, I see all these people posting videos using your camera. I didn't think it was actually a real thing. You know what I mean? But even up to 2 weeks ago, my stepdad even asked me, he's like, do you really believe in this stuff? And I'm like, how many times do I have to like show you things that I've got when I'm in a place by myself?
Have you ever taken them out?
Really believe? Yeah, before you understand that I really believe in what I'm doing. Like,
right.
If I didn't experience it, I wouldn't believe either. But that's why I always, anytime I can, I invite them. I say, come with me. I will show you. I will let you experience it.
Have they ever gone?
Nope, they have never gone. I don't know if they ever will. I think at some point, again, like you said, once it gets to a certain point and they're like, okay, there's some validity to this, right. I think they may do it. And I would love to have them because, again, I would not even be in this field at all if I didn't experience something for myself.
Right.
I think that's what really starts it off for everybody.
Right. I mean, but you could always trick your mom. You could be like, Mom, come on, we're going to dinner tonight.
Yeah, right.
Where is
we're
this
going to dinner, but you can't go to bed at 8 o'clock.
You got to wake up. You got to stay awake tonight. Dinner's at 9. Okay, dinner's at 9.
Yeah, right.
You know, pull up in front of a cemetery.
I would love to have them come, man. I really would. I'd love to see their reaction.
Of course.
But again, you know, like sometimes there's so many times I've went out investigating and you don't get anything. So if I ever did get the opportunity where they could join me, like they would definitely be going to like some of my favorite places.
Right.
You know.
Well, when we get you out here, dude, I'm definitely dragging you to the family tree because I know there ain't ever a fucking day that you go in that place downstairs and there ain't nothing happening. It's one of the most active places here for me. It's every time I talk to somebody, you know, the chill seekers and stuff about that's the first place that pops into my mind. It's actually the only place because I know for a fact that going to that place, you're going to get activity.
Yep.
And
there's places like that for us.
Right.
I'm really jealous of what you guys have on the West Coast, which I'm sure you're jealous of some things we have on the East Coast.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, how was it at Gettysburg, dude?
Dude, man, I'm telling you, Gettysburg was probably like one of my top 3 places that I've ever wanted to go. And it was everything that I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the history there, just the feelings that you get when you're walking through the battlefield or Evergreen right. Cemetery or, you know, I went down to the Jenny Wade house. I did a little investigation there. Like, it's so intense and it's just so thick.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's got that feeling like no matter what, you just know there's eyes upon you, right?
Yeah, and you know, I actually joined the military when I was 17 years old. I did 4 years. And, like, I don't know, I think there's just, like, the extra connection for me with that. Right. You know what I mean? Because I kind of understand. I don't understand what they went through, but there's that connection, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I learned another thing about you. Not only did you go to priest college, you're a fucking veteran too. So thank you very much for your service, man. I would have thanked you already for that because I am a patriot. But
yeah, my stepdad was in the military for 25 years, so it's kind of one of those things which, you know, I don't really know my real father much. I haven't really spoken to him since I was 10 years old or so. Right. But it's kind of always one of those things like, I just have to experience this and do this. I feel like I need to.
No, dude.
You know, like just deep down, you feel like you need to do it. So, I mean, the minute I turned 17 years old, I was still in high school. I signed paperwork. So,
so you made everybody proud. What was you in the Army?
Yeah, I was in the Army. Yep.
Right on, man. Thank you so much for your service. It's appreciated. So, I mean, you know, again, it builds up more of who you are and the truth that you're seeking because you've seen some things, you've been a part of some things, and you know exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish. But we're going to take a break here. I'm going to play your commercial. But
everybody find me on Facebook.
That's right. That's right. Get this camera. I'm not kidding, man. This camera definitely is a game changer. We'll talk a little bit more about with the camera and paranormal disorder, chill seekers and such like that when we come back, man. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Dave with 51 Areas Paranormal Talk Radio. If you happen to be in the market for your very own SLS camera, I have found the hidden treasure in the field. Landon and Jerry of the Paranormal Response team are doing something incredible for all investigators, single or with your team. To your door, you can get your very own SLS camera shipped to your house for $299. And it's incredible because not only do they send you the camera, they send you a couple of videos, show you how to use it, and if you have any questions, you just contact them, and their customer service is through the roof. They will help you out. I'm talking through experience here dealing with these guys. They are 100% class, and they're doing something great because the technology that you're paying for is just outrageous on some of these sites. But to your door, $299 shipped, and you're on your way. Then you can be just like Zach. Just like Zach. Tell him I say amen. Paranormal Response Team on Facebook.
Come back. Yep. Dip.
Hey guys, when it comes to using ITC applications, if you looked at Google Play, you'll see that there's a ton of applications out there. And there's a handful of them that actually work. EchoVox Classic, EchoVox 3.0, and the newest member of the family, EchoVox EVX, are definitely in my to-go app list. They are simply amazing, and they give me some of the most incredible responses that I could ask for. So if you're in the market to try something new instead of using your dowsing rods, check out EchoVox, Google Play.
We are back talking with Landon Mills from Paranormal Response Team.
You know, honestly, man, you meet good people in this field, and then when you talk to them, you realize that they're actually better than you thought they were. And, you know, I'm learning a lot about you, dude. Where does the passion come from and the know-how? How did you learn how to do these cameras? And now that you're getting into, I don't want to say anything. You tell me what you're getting into because I already know, but it's up to you to tell people.
So again, it kind of stems from not really understanding anything about the field. Again, everything that I had to know about the field was from Ghost Adventures when it first started. So then from there, I just kind of started researching more and more. And again, taking it lightly because, you know, it is TV. They got to do what they got to do to get viewers and whatnot.
Right.
But then, you know, I just started buying equipment. I would buy, you know, a mel meter. Then I'd buy, you know, a K2 meter. And then you dive into some more of the complex stuff. And when I would get it, I would use it. And I would then try to research, okay, how does this work? How are spirits communicating with us through this device? Or how are we detecting them? Right. So a lot of it comes from sitting on that computer right there and researching it or finding experts about this specific thing, you know? So the Kinect camera just came along because seriously, like I wanted one for our team so bad. And I was not about to pay, I think it's like $1,300 now from Bill Chappell for one. That's just kind of a lot of money to test something, although I did pay $1,100 for Steve Huff's thing, but he's really convincing with it, you know?
Right. You're like, this guy's not on TV.
Yeah. So then, you know, you just kind of dive into understanding, okay, well, how does that work? All right, well, then I bought the parts for it, and I was like, all right, well, this isn't that hard to actually put together. So I put one together for our team. You know, we started putting out evidence about it, and then people were like, whoa, that's not Bill Chappell's. Like, did you make that? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I made that. I've made other things, you know. I've made REM pods because I didn't want to pay $160 or whatever they are for them. Motion sensors, things like that. I really started just building it for our team. Our team is the only way we get funds is from our member dues, you know,
Right.
or if we happen to do some type of public thing during October or whatnot, you know, we'll get a little bit of funds from that. But, you know, we don't charge for anything we do, and we travel out of state all the time. We just left and went to Alabama. It took 5 hours for some of our members to get to that investigation, you know?
Right.
So, you know, people would just reach out to me and be like, hey, that looks really cool. Can I get one? So then I sold the first Connect camera to a guy named Ron, who's out of Pennsylvania.
You always remember
And then,
you always remember your first sale, man.
I remember my first one, and it's kind of cool because when I went to Gettysburg, I reached out to him because the very first camera I sold was a completely different version of, you know, as you do this, you learn and you build off of what
Right.
you've done in the past,
Right.
and you try to make it better. You always try to make it better. You get feedback from people, and then you incorporate those things into it. So I reached out to Ron, and I was like, hey, Ron, you know, I sold you my first one, but now I've got a better version. And he was only like an hour from me. And I was like, if you will just meet up with me, man, I want to switch your camera out and give you the latest version, you know?
What?
Yeah, but
Damn,
But
dude.
that's the thing. Like, again, I come from the customer service industry. Like, you have to take care of people. You have to. It's networking too. It's building those relationships.
Right.
So-
I mean, I want to be upfront with everybody that listens, that's listening, and that's going to listen to this in the future. I made the commercial for Landon because of how he treated me and how respectful he was to me and how nice of a guy he is, and you're all hearing that. There wasn't, I didn't charge him to tell you how good he is. You know what I mean? That commercial was done because of the respect that I have for him and his product. There's no money to be made in the paranormal field unless your last name's Huff.
Very, very true. Or Chapel.
Or Chapel. Hi, I'm Huff Chapel.
Right.
You know, as I
They'd
roll
be a
up.
good team. Maybe that's what we'll see in the future.
Right. But I mean, the way that you treated me, and as well as with Paranormal Disorder and other teams around, you know, your reputation is way ahead before anything. You know, you're just a very good person, and that's what I said. You know, everything in the commercial was just me talking. I didn't write anything down. I just fucking played Joe Satriani, and I was like, hey, this kid is legit. His team is legit. His product is legit. The customer service is legit, because you know what? You sent me videos on how to do it, and I still was like, hey, how do you do this? You know, I hit you. You're like, yeah, no problem. You know, I was like, okay, thank you. You know, because, you know, I got big fingers, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm pushing, but, you know, and all due respect, I mean, I was just like, you know, this kid's, he's on it. So that's where that whole commercial came from me, you know, endorsing and telling everybody about you, is because it's nothing but the truth. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
again, Paranormal
You know-
Response Team, the SLS camera, $299 to your door. Try to find that anywhere else, man. You may find it. You may find it for around the same price, but it's going to take you fucking 18 weeks to get it.
Yep, that's very true. And to be honest with you, I've looked for other people that build them, and the cheapest that I've seen is like $350.
Yeah.
And then even then, it takes 4 weeks for them to build it. Again, like I said, I come from the customer service industry. I understand it. I pride myself every day, even when I go to my personal job, like, of taking care of people and just building those relationships, because that's the only way you're ever going to grow, right? I want to build these relationships with people in the paranormal field because I'm learning so much from them.
Right.
You know, I gained nothing from reaching out to Ron and saying, hey, I want to give you this new camera because it's a smaller, lightweight design. It's just different. You know what I mean?
Right.
I gained nothing from that other than now me and him are really good friends, you know?
Well, that's
Now we're going to, anytime I'm up in that area, if they're investigating, I'm going with them. You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
right. I mean, it's just who you are, and that's the thing that bleeds through. You know what I mean? So let's talk about ghost boxes, Landon.
Let's do it.
I saw a little tiny print out of a box that Landon is making for me, and it's dumbfounding. I'm pretty excited to get it. I'm not gonna lie. It's just the whole design of it. So I saw your live feed when you were doing what's the name of the box that you're taking around right now? Afterlife or Afterlife?
Afterlight. It's from the UK. There's actually a group called Afterlight Paranormal. His name's Anthony Mark, and he built this box. So again, I buy things if I want to test it out. So I bought his, and that's the one I've been using for the past 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, I've seen it on all of your videos, and it has that whole Geo box look to it with the EQ and everything and such like that. So I mean, it looks really cool.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I bought it, is because of the Geo box look, just because of how expensive they're going for now. It's
just they're unbelievable. I would love to have a Geo box. I've seen them on eBay. That's why I want one, so I could put mine on fucking eBay. I mean, people getting $13,000 to $15,000. I've seen them go for $10,000, $9,000. It's just like, are you kidding me, dude?
It's ridiculous.
I saw somebody put a mirror up on eBay, called it a haunted mirror. They wanted $66,000 for it.
Jesus.
And
the problem is, people are gullible enough to even think about it.
Yeah. I mean, you could put one of my exes in front of that motherfucker, and they'd be like, "Oh my god, a ghost!" I'd be like, "No, bitch, that's just you.
That's just what you look like." That's the thing with the haunted dolls, man. I just can't buy into that because of how faked it could be and how profitable that can be.
There's a local guy here that was doing a video a while back with this haunted doll, and oh, dude, it's so hard for me sometimes to just not say anything.
It's the hardest thing to do.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you know what I mean? And then they started with the boom, the dramatic hums in the background as they're standing there. It's like, you take that movie. What's the new movie that's out about Annabelle? The new Annabelle.
Yep.
Every fucking time I see an Annabelle commercial, I'm going to tell everybody that's listening to this, I see Raggedy Ann. And I'm not fucking scared. I'm not scared. Because you can take the real Raggedy Ann, dude, it's just not a scary fucking doll. You know what I mean?
You're right. It doesn't scare me at all. And I have no interest in having one.
Everybody's like, oh my God, if you're going to go see the new Annabelle, I'm like, it's Raggedy Ann, and it ain't fucking scary. I'm sorry to cut you off, man, on the ghost box thing, but anyways, let's get back to the ghost box. I was ranting a little bit. I had a couple of drinks. I'm enjoying a conversation with my friend. This is fun time for me.
Right, me as well. I've been partaking in the drinking as well. So.
Jesus,
but no, I really
have some Jesus juice.
Right. So when it actually came down to building yours, I really wanted to do, like, not even just yours, everyone else's. If somebody else wants one, I don't even know if I'm going to advertise it. But if people want to reach out to me after they see one and want one, I'll definitely build it for them. But I wanted something that's completely different from what you see everywhere else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be personalized. I don't want it to be just a generic, this is the exact way it's going to look every time. This is the exact effects that are going to be in there, or whatnot. I want it to be personalized. So yours, I sent you a little cheat clip. I probably shouldn't have done that. I wanted it to be a complete surprise.
Oh, dude, it looks so good.
I'm just so excited about it.
Wow, it looks so good. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it's beautiful.
Yours is just going to be nuts, man. I've already got all the guts done, so I know what it sounds like. It sounds awesome. But when I get that enclosure and put it, dude, it's just going to be amazing.
But what is it? The fact that you see people paying? Well, I mean, not see people. I mean, you as well as I have spent a lot of money on gear.
Yeah.
And that's how you know if you like it or not. You go out and you say, okay, I like this box. I like the Afterlife box. See, I have a problem calling that Afterlife box because I have an application from Martin at Extreme Senses that's called the Afterlife box.
Well, see, Anthony, the guy from Afterlife, is the one that helped him build that. So that's where the name came from for that.
Oh, okay. Okay, see, I didn't know that. I had no clue.
Yep.
I had no clue. So That's because I'm like, okay, every time I say Afterlight, I'm thinking about the application that I have on my Windows application. So,
yep. So it's the same guy. He just started creating his own ghost boxes.
All right. Well, I mean, they look nice, dude. I mean, but then you got the risk of it coming from such a long location as the other SLS cameras coming. I think that guy that sells them for $350. I think they come from Australia. So
yeah, that's Manchester Paranormal Equipment or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
they sell it from. It does come from Australia, and even theirs is 10 to 12 weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about you're putting fragile equipment on a plane or boat or whatever the fuck it is that they use to get over here, and dude, I can't even get anything mailed to me from Arizona without having fucking damage on it. You know what I mean? So. You're going to spend a lot of money on something that you hope arrives in one piece, but nah, man.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy. We were going back to the ghost box, but I mean, I was going to talk about the, how it looks. It's just amazing looking, man. And if you're happy about how it sounds with the knowledge that you have from the ghost boxes you've had your hands on, dude.
Yeah.
I'm fucking great. Look, can you see me? No, but I'm smiling.
I can't see you, but I see it.
I am very hyped about it. I can't wait. I just can't wait. But
yeah, I'm stoked for you to have it, man, and to get it out there. But I mean, I've really designed it and built it off of everything else I've owned. I think the only ghost box that I really haven't owned, other than obviously a Joe's box, I don't know anybody that can get their hands on one of them, but it's a Geo box. I just can't get my hand on freaking Geobox. You know the guy?
I know the guy that was really in with the Joe's boxes. Unfortunately, he's a fucking asshole. His name is Steve.
Oh, really?
Steve Hulte. And if you're listening, listening, Steve Hulte, fuck you.
Right.
I hate you. You know what I mean? The guy he's a total fucking. He's just a mud sucker, dude. I mean, if you do anything in the field that he doesn't like, he comes on and he'll publicly blast you and try to attack you. And this, it goes, and you're going to get it, dude. I'm telling you, you're going to get it. It's just a matter of time before somebody puts their crosshairs on you and starts attacking. And Danny Roberge told me, as well as Brian Holloway told me, the minute you get into this ITC thing, you're going to see a different side of people. And I have. I totally have. I have fucking...
That is so true.
I get so many messages on my Facebook and people just, fuck you and you're stealing this or you done this. It's like, dude, are you seriously, as I'm reading this stuff, I don't even reply anymore. I just don't even care. It's just like, if you do something that... And I'm so super proud of the Trilogy applications. But Ethereal Box, dude, wow. You know what I mean?
Dude, from watching my videos, that one and Spiritus from Chill Seekers Keith Weldon, those two are my favorite, and they're really the only two that I use. I've tested every one of them.
Right.
But they're my go-tos, man. That Ethereal Box, anytime if you guys watch my live videos on our Facebook page, Paranormal Response Team, you will see every time I pull out the Ethereal Box. It is seriously legit, and it is the real deal. I've never gotten response. Yeah, I've never got replies like this.
I watch your videos, dude, and it's like, you ask a yes or no question, and a yes answer comes through right away, and you're with a room full of people, and everybody hears it, and then I'm reading the replies, and it's just, for me to sit back and watch it, you know what I mean, as people are using the applications. I'm just sitting there and I'm going, and that's where we are with the new one that's coming. And what that one's built about.
Oh, yeah. And that one's going to be wild.
I'm almost positive it will be. It could fail. It couldn't, there's a possibility that it won't work for some people, but I just feel like it's going to really bring up some really nasty shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. What you got going in there is going to be... It's going to change the game for real. But I don't know if you actually saw my live video from Alabama this past weekend. We went out to a business called us out because of things that were going on in their business. And, we went there and we just couldn't get anything that related to the location or the business itself or anyone that's associated with that. But one of our investigators, while we were using Ethereal Box, literally had a one-on-one conversation with her mother, who was telling her things that no one else in the room knew, to the point where she broke down, man, and she was crying.
Right.
She was in full tears over the things that were coming through this box. Like, it's amazing.
Right. And it's a mixture.
Crazy.
You know, the sound banks are a mixture between some of the higher up anarchies in the Satanic Church, some of the higher up anarchies in the spiritual world, such as Paramahansa Yogananda, Gandhi, Pope John Paul II. You know, it's a mixture of a total conflict of words, you know what I mean, of people with different messages. So I was like, you know, when I went to Brian with that, I was like, dude, you know, we had 1 and 2, and I was like, we gotta finish this off with a trilogy and mix, you know, it's not either mixture of the first 2 applications. It's a totally different thing, but in step with the light as far as Area Box goes and the dark as far as Legion Box goes. But Ethereal Box, I wanted to be a total confliction of both messages coming through, and it's all in reverse. So anything that anybody hears out of it, man, you know, if you hear any English coming out of that forward, and I my buddy, we were on vacation in Vegas, and I left everything home, of course, but I had a tablet with me, so I like to have internet access in the hotel room. So I took a tablet with me that had all my shit on it, and his wife's real religious, and you know, I fired it up, and I was like, what's his name? And it fucking started calling him out, and then the wife, she said something, I can't even remember what she said, but when she got the answer, she like fucking Allison, she jumped back like fucking 15 feet away from me. She was just like, she heard, and I know she heard it, but I'm just like, this is it. This is the yin and the yang. So, you know,
I think that's what makes it so great is the combination of the two.
Right. I mean, you have to have it. I've had Satanists on my show that say that, you know, you cannot have just good people. You have to have, there is a balance. There is a balance of both sides that make everything work, you know, and when the scale starts to tip one way or another, then things are totally out of control. So, I mean, you kind of do need the assholes and the good people in the room so things stay balanced. You know, like if an asshole steps out of a line, a good person's going to punch him in the face and tell him to get back in line. They know that that's the coexistence.
Yep. And I'm sure.
Well, I lost you.
Well, I'm just going to put on the devil voice right now.
Are you there?
I'm back. Yes, you're back.
Okay, there we go. All right, cool. I just went
Sorry.
Lucifer.
I don't know what happened.
Just went Lucifer there for a minute. It was talking about the balance, and then everything went off. See?
Oh, see, I said Paul's name, and then it cut off. So
right. And you know what? You're not the only person that I know that has a fucking problem with an entity called Paul. What is going on with this Paul?
I don't know, man, but it's literally all the time. And even when I watch Nick's stuff from Paranormal Disorder up there in your neck of the woods, like he gets the same thing that I get, you know, using different applications. It's not even through the same app, right?
Right. Or the Ovulus. It's even come through on the Ovulus as well. So you know, I have another friend. God, I'm sorry. God, it just slipped my mind. I just was fixing ready to say his name. He's like right now, he's going, God damn you, Dave. Just give me a minute and I'll remember. But he has a Paul as well. And an application coming out. God damn. Richard Wade! See, I remember.
Richard! Yeah,
I'm sorry.
If you had just said Michigan, I would have known.
It was like,
he does too, man.
I'm thinking about everybody that's got a Paul problem. And so it was no disrespect. It just took me a second, Richard. But yes, he's got a Paul problem. You've got a Paul problem. Nick's got a Paul problem. What the fuck? What's going on with Paul? Who's Paul? What's going on here?
I don't know, man. I try to dive into it every time that, you know, he comes through, and it's constant, man. It's not like it just comes through and that's it. Like it's constantly, this is Paul, Paul. Dang, dude, just tell me what you want. Leave me alone.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, I know Richard like battled it for a while. Like he actually tried to take it back to the cemetery and leave it where it was. And for whatever brain fart reason I had, it was because everybody's name was ping ponging in my head and I was trying to grab a hold of it. But Richard's a very good friend, and I don't mean to not fucking say his name on cue, but
absolutely. I respect Richard a lot. I love the stuff he puts out.
Right. When you're trying to fucking remember everybody's names and the applications and the shit, you just kind of get a little dumbfounded, and that's what happened to me there. But I mean, yeah, I've not had a personal entity attach by that name, but I've brought stuff home. So obviously, from watching the videos that I watch with you, you already got shit in your house.
Dude, it's nuts. I mean, I've had to adjust, because I live in a house by myself. But like, I swear, man, and I don't mean to like pinpoint it at you, but ever since that video that I made with your Kinect camera, it's nuts. Like, and people will never understand that, but you see, when I was even filming that, I had to stop in the middle of the room.
Dude,
I just stopped talking for like 30 seconds.
The lights started flashing. The lights started
all the lights
flashing.
in my house. Yes, all the lights in my house just started blinking on and off really, really fast. The whole tablet glitched out. And then, like, I'm hearing these two men literally speaking, like they're standing in front of me. Like, I'm like, what is going on, man? It's nuts.
I know.
I've never had something like that happen in my house. But it's gotten to the point, dude, where, like, it's every time I make a video for somebody or show them what to do, it happens every time. Like, it's on cue. I can say, hey, can you show up right in front of the camera right now just so they can see what it looks like? Well, I'm testing out this camera.
There's definitely a weird thing going on with me and the spirit world, because when I go to, now you heard it straight from Corey, the Corey Broadhead from Leslie's Family Tree. I mean, I go there, dude, and the place is just, when I'm downstairs, dude, it's intense.
Yeah, we got big plans to go there, but she almost wouldn't even let us go because you wanted to go. She's like, I don't know if Dave's coming.
I don't know if I want that guy in here, because shit gets crazy, but it really does, man. I mean, it really does. But, I've had one constant voice and name come up in any application, from Echovox to Spiritus, just to fucking anything, because I've got pretty much every application out there that's worth having. You know what I mean? Yep. And I go through them all, and the same name comes up, and she won't tell me what her full name is, but it's just M. Like M? Like E-M. Yeah, like M. Yeah. I try Emily, try Melissa, and nothing, dude. She tells me that, no, that's not her name, but she lets her presence be known when she wants. And that came home with us from Lava Hot Springs. I mean, we've saged, we've done Florida water, we've done everything in the house. And you know what, man? It's not that I feel threatened at all. I don't feel like there's anything negative going on. I just feel like, this is an attachment. Hey, we're coming up on the 7 o'clock hour. If you want to keep talking, dude, you good, or are you done?
Oh yeah, no, I feel like we just started. So
cool. Well, I'm gonna go to break again, 2 minutes. And we're going to continue talking. Fuck everybody. It's my show.
There you go.
Do what I want. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Dave with 51 Areas Paranormal Talk Radio. If you happen to be in the market for your very own SLS camera, I have found the hidden treasure in the field. Landon and Jerry of the Paranormal Response team are doing something incredible for all investigators, single or with your team. To your door, you can get your very own SLS camera shipped to your house for $299. And it's incredible because not only do they send you the camera, they send you a couple of videos, show you how to use it. And if you have any questions, you just contact them, and their customer service is through the roof. They will help you out. I'm talking through experience here dealing with these guys. They are 100% class, and they're doing something great because the technology that you're paying for is just outrageous on some of these sites. But to your door, $299 shipped, and you're on your way. Then you can be just like Zach. Just like Zach. Tell him I sent you, man. Paranormal Response Team on Facebook.
What? Comfort.
For
This.
the
And.
Hey guys, when it comes to using ITC applications, if you've looked at Google Play, you'll see that there's a ton of applications out there. And there's a handful of them that actually work. Echovox Classic, Echovox 3.0, and the newest member of the family, Echovox EVX, are definitely in my to-go app list. They are simply amazing, and they get me some of the most incredible responses that I could ask for. So if you're in the market to try something new instead of using your dowsing rods, check out Echovox, Google Play. And we are back again. Extended show. We're just going until we're done.
Right? There's so much more to go.
There actually is. So we were talking about how active your place is now with the Steve Huff video that just came out about everything that's going on with him. Are you worried at all, especially with your knowledge and your background with spiritual and religious sides of things? When he comes out and he goes, "Well, there is a heaven, there is a hell." You've obviously already know that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm worried about it. I'm very, how do you say it? I'm very protective of my space, and I let them know that. This is my space.
Right.
If you want to communicate with me when I'm testing something out or whatnot, that's fine. But when we're done, you go back to where you are. You know what I mean? You don't mess with me.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of gotten to the point where I'm not gonna lie, in the back of my house, because I sleep with my bedroom door open,
Right.
and then the whole rest of the house is completely pitch black. So I leave the kitchen light on now, just because I keep hearing things. I'm not even kidding.
Right.
People say it all the time, but you don't believe it till you experience it. There's literally I have a baby monitor. I have a little 2-year-old daughter, who me and her mother are split. But when she stays with me, I turn on her baby monitor, and it's usually nothing happens when she's there. It's completely fine. So
Right.
I actually kind of like it when she's there. But when she's gone, if I don't turn that baby monitor off and her bedroom's on the opposite side of the house, I can hear people talking through that baby monitor. It's crazy.
No, dude, I totally vibe it. I lived in a haunted house in a very small town in this state. And one of the things that never happened to me or my son, I was a single dad at the time. And my son lived with me since he was 18 months old, So I was used to hearing him get up in the middle of the night or whatever, sneaking snacks or whatever he was doing. But in this particular house, it never messed with either one of us, because he would have told me, he was scared or whatever. But people that came over, it was fair game.
Yeah.
They were always, I used to, I was a single dude. We had Madden tournaments at my house, man. We're sitting there playing PlayStation, doing the, on the fucking big screen, and I had this one friend over one day, come over to try and claim my title, and he went to get up off of the sofa. It was sectional, and where he was sitting, I watched him get up, and I watched him get yanked back down onto the sofa.
Oh wow!
And he looked at me, because he felt, we were, it was broad daylight, we're just hanging out, having a couple of sodas, playing Madden and shit, but he was told, the look of fear on his face, I was like, see?
Yep.
They don't ever do anything like that, but I think that when you're, I don't want to say a stronger person, but when you're a confident person with dealing with that type of thing, I think that they actually do use the word coexist. Because
that's exactly what I was about to say. Coexist.
They're not. They know you're not going to go anywhere, and they know that you're there. And I think that they sense that you're not trying to do any damage, because it's actually, in all reality, their house. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's their place. That's why when people go into ghost hunts and they start screaming, show yourself. I demand it right now. This is you yelling at them in their house. So, if somebody came into my house and yelled at me like that, and the part of Georgia that you live in, I've got people that I've associated with around that area. And it's a heavily armed community.
Yeah, it definitely is. Everybody owns at least 4 to 17 guns.
Right. Right. So, to hear people creeping around or talking in your house, the average resident of that area knows if they go into your house and start talking loud, they're probably not going to make it out. So when you hear voices coming through some shit, you just know.
Which you also have to understand kind of where I live. Like I live in Rome, Georgia, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Atlanta. But I live in the country. I live like on top of a mountain, and there's not a neighbor that's within a quarter mile of me. You know what I mean? So when you hear things like that, there's no possible way.
Right.
I'll go outside of my house and stand on the porch or whatever because I got a great view of the sky, and I feel like I'm in a treehouse almost because there's so much woods around me. But when I'm standing there, you can hear like people running or walking through the house, through the wall. Like, it's crazy. But the voices, man, that are coming through just like right in front of me that are just so clear, it's insane. Like, I think I sent you a clip of when I was using the Spiritus app, the exact night that I made your video after I had that experience. It kept telling me there's 4 spirits here. I would say it again. How many spirits are here? It would say 4. I said, can you tell me the names of all 4 of those spirits? And it immediately came through with Joel, Ed, Bill, Dennis.
Wow.
4 exact names, like back to back to back.
Right.
There's no explanation for that, man. And you can leave Spiritus running for an hour, and you're never going to hear those. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's zero explanation for that. When I bought, I hate to go back to Steve Huff, but when I bought his Wonder Box, I also used his Portal app, right? So I think there was like 2 of them.
Yeah, there's the Portal, and then one of them was free.
Yeah, the free one, and then there's like Portal Plus that you have to pay for or whatever. But I'm not a huge fan of like live radio scannings. I think there's too many false positives in there, so I'm a big fan of the banks.
Yeah, well, it's difficult. It's difficult on location too, because a lot of the times you're in a building that doesn't get reception for your cell phone or whatever. So it puts you in a weird advantage to have a bank as to where you're trying to connect to, get connected to the internet.
Yeah, and trust me, if I'm using my internet, if I even have that possibility, it's going through my phone because I'm recording it live. I do a lot of live stuff.
Right.
PDA. But, when I was using his... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just said PDA.
Yeah, now I got the PDA. It came in, I think, last Thursday, finally. And so now I got that, so it kind of frees up my phone. But when I was using the Portal, I don't know if it was the Portal or the Portal Plus app, or one of those, and I was running it through his Wonder Box, I was getting some amazing results when I was at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Tennessee. And it was just crazy, like some of the stuff that was coming through. Well, then fast forward about a week later, I took the Portal out to a cemetery, and I used the exact same bank, playing it in reverse. And what's funny is I was getting the exact same. I have it recorded in 2 different locations, 2 different states, the exact same thing coming through the box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the exact same words, everything. So that's the moment that I was like, I'm done. I'm selling this thing. Like, I'm over it. You know what I mean? I'm never using this crap
Well,
again.
that's the whole thing about it is the average investigator is an intelligent individual, and they know what they're listening for. They know. So when the same thing starts popping out, then you got an issue.
Yeah, you start questioning it for sure.
Right. And that's what, when we went through the trilogy, I was, Area's Box was the first thing I was involved in the ITC world. And I was just dumbfounded at how much the audio was scraped. And what I mean by scraping is any repeated words. You know, I was ready to put it out as soon as I saw it. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I love it. It's great. It said my name, blah, 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 you know. But then came the 6 weeks of scraping through, digging through, saying, you know, Brian was like, no, it repeated this or repeated that. And the passion and the love that he had to go through that audio to remove any possibility of things being said like that is one of the things that, as far as Brian Holloway goes, I tip my hat to him all the time, is because he's a good person and he cares about what he's doing. Same with you. You know, when I made that connection with you guys, I was like, okay, I'm done. You know, it's up to you two now. But you know, when you see the passion that you both have for communicating with invisible things, and this is I say that a lot because one of the problems that happens in the paranormal community is people get angry at somebody else for an orb, you know, or whatever, you know, oh, that's dust, or, you know, it's just a false, you know, you're just putting stuff out. And that was one of the things that Steve Holte did. He said that my applications were ruining the community.
Oh,
and
wow.
And dude, when he said that to me, man, I tried so hard not to swear, and I was just trying, you know, and it was a tag team because him and his wife were fighting me on Facebook. And, you know, I'm Aaron Dirt, but I don't give a fuck because, you know, here's the truth on my approach to I want to make contact, and I want it to be legit, and I want people to have that experience. And you know what? I'm already winning because the thoughts of what I have for an idea for an application, I take that process to Brian, and with the last one, Ethereal Box, I actually had control of the banks of what went into it. The others were just ideas, or hey, what do you think about this, or hey, what do you think about that? And with Ethereal Box, I actually was grabbing the stuff and saying, I want this, I want this, I want that, you know, and you know, let me choose the artwork and everything. And I was like, I really feel like Ethereal Box is you know, I'm super proud of it because it was just what my brain was telling me to. But that was the whole thing. My heart and brain were involved in it. And when somebody comes along and they attack it and they say that what I'm feeling to try to make communication with the other side, I'm ruining something, you know, fuck you, because I've watched videos of tons of different people, some highly high up in the field, such as working with Ghost Adventures or had their own television shows, and they're hitting me up and they're going, holy shit, man, this thing is fucking legit, you know? And then to have some weasel come out and say, I'm trying to ruin the community. No, man, you know what's ruining the community is people attacking one another. Am I attacking him right now? No, I'm talking fucking facts because this is what he said to me. This is how he came at me. So, yeah, I mean, I told his wife she married a girl.
Well, dude, at the end of the day, you know, you can't attack and criticize people for trying new things. That's the biggest thing that I like try to tell people. Like, if we don't go out and try new things, we're never going to advance, right? So you need to get out there. You need to try things that are different. You know, I think your Ethereal Box was the first one that I've ever had that actually had that has that like ambient sound in the background.
Right.
And I love that, dude. I love that. Like, it just sets the mood, and it's just awesome.
Well, let's be honest about it. It's another approach as far as mixing music into it.
Yeah.
You know, the music side of things are something that everybody in this world loves. Everybody loves to have music. So
it attracts them for sure, I think. I think that is why I get so many awesome replies. I use that.
Right.
You know?
So, I mean, why wouldn't the spirits be attracted to it as well?
Exactly.
You know?
I'm of the belief that they have a lot of the same likeness and distaste that we have in this world, you know? They're just like us in some sort, you know?
Right.
So they're going to enjoy that music as well, or that ambiance. So that's one of my favorite parts that separates your guys' apps from other ones that I've used. But you go back to Brian Holloway. He is absolutely an awesome dude, and you can really tell that he cares about what he does.
Right.
I'm excited that I get to work with him here in the near future.
Can't wait for it.
Just the passion that he has, and you can really, when you speak to him, even when you see like his live videos that he does, you can see it, you can sense it.
Right.
And you know that he's not going to put something out until he thinks it's perfect.
Well, one of the things, another thing that in the word paraprofit, my applications are $4.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're $4. They're not a lot of money. There's some out there that are up into the $50 range.
Like STD1 from Huff.
But I don't think that by and I was really surprised at the pricing of it because I've seen what some go for. Some of my favorite applications cost more than $20, and I'm not going to lie, they do, but I understand it that there's a lot of work that goes into it, and people need to be compensated for their efforts. With Brian, he's just like, he's so against overcharging people for things. He just doesn't want to hurt people that way because he understands as well, the same way, with the SLS camera that you make, it's totally affordable for the average individual. And that's something to be said in itself in this field because so many fucking people are out there trying to rip. I mean, dude, come on now. $1,600 for a fucking speaker with a fucking echo pedal? Come on, man.
It's yeah. With internals, it maybe costs him like $300-$400.
Dude, I could buy a full stack. I could buy a full stack fucking Marshall. I could buy a full stack Marshall for $1,500.
Yep.
That's the mecca of guitar amplifiers.
Yep. And that's one of the biggest reasons, man. I even got into building my stuff is I didn't want to pay that much money for something that I know how it's built or whatnot, and it doesn't cost even near that.
Right.
That's why I'm a huge fan. Like I said, I bought everything you can imagine in paranormal gear, but the things that I keep onto are Paranology's gear. I have literally everything except for a Poltercom from Paranology's.
Love Jeremy. I love him.
Dude, Jeremy is like one of the greatest dudes in the world.
Absolutely.
He's so respectful. The fact that he has a lifetime warranty on his stuff, I can't tell you, man. I was doing a live video probably about a year ago of the Wonder Box when I first got it. And I had the periscope sitting beside it. Right. And I knocked the damn thing off in the live video onto the concrete, and it just broke. All the little, clear plastic things that go up, all of them broke off. And I reached out to Jeremy. I was like, man, I broke this. Like, can I send it back to you? And you fix it? Whatever, I'll pay for it, whatever. He's like, no, absolutely not. You will not pay for it. Just send it back to me. I'll give you a new one. And this dude literally sent me the brand new version of it. Like,
right.
I had an old one. I've been a huge supporter of Paranology's. Right. And he sent me the brand new, like, upgraded version of it.
My best
It's amazing,
gear.
Man. And that's
my best gear, dude.
Yeah.
The guy is fucking.
It is.
And I'm telling you right now, he's blowing up. He is blowing up. The Haunted Town.
He's amazing, man.
The Haunted Town show that's on Travel Channel, or not Travel Channel, Destination America. They're using his gear. The Low Files are using his gear. There's a lot of fucking big things on Jeremy's horizon. So,
yep.
And I'm telling you this, when you order the shit, it don't come in a week. He hand makes everything. Everything he does, it takes you a minute to get it. But when you get it, believe me, it's going to set itself away from everything else that you have in your gear. I've got a whole level in my box of just Paranologies, and that's what I go to the minute I go to his site. I'm like, I'm putting this shit out. If none of this stuff works, this motherfucking place is not haunted.
Right. I mean, dude, his stuff is just so well built, and it's not crap. And again, it goes back to the customer service aspect. I learned from him, like, his stuff is just absolutely amazing. I mean, I got to the point where, you know, I had so much gear that I couldn't fit it in my trunk and my back seat and my front seat. You know,
Right.
I was getting to the point where I was like, okay, I need to go to the car dealership and get a bigger car because I can't even carry all the crap I have. But the only things I ever used when I went to investigation was his stuff.
Right.
So, you know, here recently, in the past 6 months, I've sold probably 60% of what I have just because I don't use it,
Right.
or I don't like it, or it fails, but not one thing have I sold that's Paranology. So I absolutely love what he does.
Do you have his pyramid? Do you have the pyramid?
Yes, I actually do, but it's the old school one.
Yeah, I got the new one, dude, and it we used it at Lava, and it was one of the most terrifying moments of the whole investigation, where you're sitting on a bed in this room, and you know we got the pyramid in the middle of the floor, and we were just like, hey, if you're in here, walk by that thing because it's a motion sensor, you know, so it goes off.
It's like a geopod or whatever.
Right, it tells you exactly how far away the object is from the fucking thing, and it walked past it, and then you know I look over at the wife and she looks back at me, and I was like, if you're really here, come back on the same side. And it came back, dude, and because it projects on both sides, but it came back right on the same side, and it just definitely one of the cooler things that I don't think a lot of people out there are using right now, but the pyramid is definitely one of my favorites. It's
absolutely,
and it's a set it and forget it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's
all his
set
stuff
it and
is like
forget
that,
it.
pretty much.
You just and when it fucking goes off in a totally dark room, you get one of them periscopes going off, and it's like a gay rainbow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You see, you're in a dark room, and when one of those fucking things lights up, you've got this big, huge rainbow of light going off through the room, so it's impossible to even miss it. If you don't see your periscope going off, you got issues other than ghosts.
Yep.
For real.
Yep. I mean, dude, just like you cannot. Jeremy Jones, his mind is what's so amazing. Like he thinks outside of the box. You know, all this gear that's out there is 90% of it is designed for a different application, right? And then we just turn it into something that can detect spirits or manipulate from spirit energy.
Cool.
And like his mind, dude, just the way he thinks about things and thinks outside of the box, it just blows my mind, man. I'm a huge fan of Paranologies, and I recommend them to everyone.
A lot of people don't know this about his background, but Jeremy is actually an electrical engineer. And
he quit his job, like a well-paid job for this.
Right.
You know?
He left his job to do Paranologies. And it's just, when somebody's making that type, obviously he's highly intelligent in what he's doing, but when he makes that type of decision to turn his passion into his life, the stuff that you get when it comes to your house is somebody's heart. You know what I mean? His heart and his soul and his belief went into that product because he left an extremely well-paying job to do Paranologies. And I think it's paid off for him because, the community, all these new TV shows are running his stuff for a reason.
Yep. His passion shows through in his devices. I mean, you can tell it's not made in some Chinese sweatshop or some shit like that,
Right. But what's even cooler is that I'm hearing that's flowing over into your approach on things as well. Because
absolutely,
when you deal with somebody like that, like you did with the camera, your very first, Ron was his name.
Ron, yeah.
Yeah, you sold your very first camera to Ron, and then you made improvements on it, and then you went and you gave him the new camera. I mean, that's just incredible. Did you get the first one back?
Yeah, he gave me the first one back. And what's interesting about this guy is he's kind of like me. Like if he doesn't if he doesn't understand something, he wants to dive into it. So this guy has literally went out and has purchased an SLS camera from Bill Chappell. He paid for the big one.
Cool.
And then he's like, I just don't know if I believe this. So I want to buy another one so that I can verify that the first one's getting the correct response. I can verify that too.
Right.
Well, then he bought that one, and he was like, well, I just don't trust these two. I need a third one. So he bought a third one. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, he's wild, but yeah,
Hey.
he gave me the other one back. And
Could you walk a little bit closer to your router, bro?
oh yeah,
All right,
can you
cool.
hear me now?
Yeah. You were just splitting up. I heard everything you said, but you were getting to the point where I was going to have to bring Satan on.
Oh, don't do that.
No. It's just a thing that happens the minute I lose a guest. Satan comes on and he starts fucking going a little bit nuts.
I think I heard that last night. A little out of hand.
Right. Yeah,
Your guest
ukulele.
kind of got a little out of hand too.
Ukulele solos will make you go nuts, man. But
I'm sorry I didn't prepare a song for you tonight. But
no, that's all good, dude. It's like you say. I mean, you're learning. You're taking what you've gone through the industry, as far as making your purchases go. You've had some unfortunate purchases, as well as myself.
Yep.
And the way people handle things, versus you handling the way that you handle your problems. I mean, when you ship something, man, it needs to show up intact. And if it doesn't show up intact, then you make it right. No questions, just make it right. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Send me the thing back. It's insured. I got to play that fucking part of it. But
And you have to play off that because the Postal Service does not give a damn about your package. I mean, dude, the packages I send now, which I don't think I was doing this when I sent you yours, are completely wrapped and handled with care, fragile tape. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I went out and bought this extra tape to wrap these things, and they just toss them around like it's nothing. So, I've only had really 2 instances where there was an issue, and both of those issues were from a cracked screen on the tablet.
right.
And, they reached out to me the minute they got it, and I next day aired a new tablet because they don't need to wait. I advertise on, when I'm selling these that I ship next day. I have stock of these prepared, so if you order it, I can send it immediately.
Right.
And that's again, that comes back to me learning from my experience of buying equipment. Which, no knock to Jeremy, but I wish he had stock of shit so he could just send it out immediately.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
But I can't tell you how many times I went and I was about to go on an investigation the very next weekend or whatever, and I was like, man, at this location they have this visual evidence from a lot of other people that have went there. I wish I had this camera or whatever.
Right.
I want to cater to those people to where they're like, okay, I got this going on. Where can I get a piece of equipment and know that it's going to arrive intact and working in time for me to go to my next investigation? And that's kind of where that came from. Otherwise, I would just be like everybody else. And,
Right.
you order one, then I'll order your parts. And when it gets to me, I'll put it together. And then when I can get it to the post office, I'll send it. I didn't want to be like that. I wanted to get it back, get it done, and open.
Yeah.
You have it.
Well, another thing that's really cool about your camera is you give multiple operating systems to use for
Yes.
the Connect. Now, I believe it's called Fast.
The FAST program.
Yeah, that looks really, really good, man. I mean, it does. Now, the other one is it's got tons of different options of what you can even use the camera for. You know what I mean? It's just, some of it's even fun. Like you can, make your wife cooking dinner standing on top of a mountain.
You can do some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
with it,
I mean,
for
there's
sure.
some crazy shit that's in the camera, but when you use that Fast software, I mean, it's really, I mean, you feel like
It's so clear.
Yeah, and when I first tested the camera here at the house, right next to the bed, and even on my side, right by the headboard, there's a fucking stick figure standing by my bed, and I just was like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you start panning back and forth to see if it's, you move the camera and it's gone. So
Yep.
I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to move back and see. And sure as shit, there it is again, dude. And I'm like, fuck. So I was like, I better check the whole house. So I went through the whole house and there was nothing. And when you're doing your own house, you don't want to see shit.
Sometimes I kind of like seeing shit.
Well, you know what I mean?
It works out for me.
But I'm like, we've saged a whole bunch here. We got some shit going on. I don't want to fucking see anything right now. But when you're testing it, obviously to send it to somebody, you want to show them something. And I mean, and your house is fucking active. I mean, what's the history of that area? Was there fucking soldiers going through there, or do you know?
Yeah, so there was. It's crazy that you even asked that. We actually had the property that I was filming your test video on. My parents own a lot of land there, and they actually own like 4 houses around that property. I actually have my team come out and investigate one of those houses because of the activity that was going on there. But through that area is where the actual freight locomotive chase came through. Okay, and there was a lot of battles in the area, and it's really cool. I've posted some videos in the past of me doing ghost box sessions where they talk about the train
Really?
that came through the area. Yeah, like I have a train track that's it's like a mile away where the actual locomotive chase went through.
Wow.
And it comes through on the box, and they're talking about this train, and it's just amazing. And that's really one of the reasons why I got into an investigation team is I love the history, and I want to connect what we're experiencing through our devices and through our communication to the history. And that's one thing that's so cool about our group is, we have a historian that's on our group. So anytime we get a location, her name's Erin. She looks out and she goes in and she dives into the history and just digs things up that people don't even know, even about like well-known locations. She'll dig stuff up that's nobody else has ever dug up. She dives into like the deepest things ever. I mean, she just reads all these books, and it's just amazing what she does, and I commend her for that. But man, I just love connecting that history to what you're actually experiencing when you're there.
Right.
We had one of our hidden gems is this place. I think it's in Union City, Georgia. It's like east of Atlanta, and it's called Gaither Plantation. And nobody investigates this place, but it's one of the few plantations that actually survived when all the battles were going through and they were burning down all these plantations and houses and all that. It's one of the few houses that actually survived, and that's our hidden gem, man. We're going again in November.
Nice.
But we go every single year because of the amount of activity that's there. I'm a huge proponent I don't necessarily like to go to a lot of places that are investigated a lot. I personally believe that there's only so much energy before they're just kind of drained out.
Right.
And they have to recharge or whatever.
That's kind of how I felt about Virginia City when I got there. I was like,
yeah, once these TV shows hits it, it's just nonstop. And there's only so much energy before they have to.
Well, and there's people that swear by them. Oh, no. Virginia City's active all the time. And I'm just like thinking, I'm like, fuck, man. I mean, how could it be all the time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, the buildings are old, and I caught a burn while I was there. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there is activity, but you take the Washoe Club or Washoe Club or whatever people call it. I mean, people go in there every single night, every day. You know what I mean? They're investing
7 days a week. I'm
like, how the fuck can this place just continue to perform like that?
It's not going to give you the activity that you want. And that's what's so cool about going to these places that are not known, because nobody goes there. So when I think of videos, I messed up my hidden gem. But I seen a few videos before we went live, and that's some of those forms that are coming through the videos. That's actually at Gaither Plantation.
Oh, really? Really? Yeah. I mean, That one thing that's coming down, dude, I mean, you can't even call it in. It looks like a grapefruit-sized bat wing of an orb coming down.
That's Gaither right there.
Wow, dude.
So we're sitting in the floor.
Yes. I was like, what in the world?
It's literally like it's almost like you're watching it manifest in front of your eyes. And what's so cool about those videos is that it all happens in frame and ends before it leaves frame. Right? So there's no question that it's like a bug or something flying through. And that one that you're talking about where we're sitting on the floor, when it comes around in front of that dresser, I mean, it literally looks like the silhouette of somebody's face. Like it's forming as it's coming down. It's insane, man. Really is crazy.
That's one of the benefits of the 42-inch monitor that I get to watch these things play back on. I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I was like, holy fuck. You know, and as I was watching it, you know, the Ghost Adventures came to mind because back in the day, they were like orbs, and now it's light anomaly.
Yep.
You know, it's like, okay, I understand that a lot of people don't, and I don't know why. I don't know why people, are so against orbs. But there is the chance of it being dust. But once you've seen dust and you've seen an orb, then you just know the difference between the two.
You can tell the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. But, changing the classification of what it's called, or, grade A or class A, or whatever people, I don't really necessarily care about terminologies of things. But when you're in a room and something comes at you, which I had an orb come at me downstairs at Leslie's family tree, and I saw it come down the stairs, take a right, and come directly at me. That's some shit. Dust don't do that.
Yep. There's a lot of things that I would consider to be an orb, but if there's even a doubt in my mind, I won't post it. But there's things that you just can't deny. Another one of those videos I sent you, you see an orb come along the wall, and it makes a complete 180, and it turns back and hits the camera and almost knocks the camera over.
Right.
There's no way you can tell me that that's freaking dust, dude.
Or
it's
a
not
bug.
Dust.
There ain't no bug.
It's not a fucking bug. Dude, my shit is like locked down. There's
I
no
love
damn
it.
way
I love
that's
it.
a bug.
I love it. There's no way. I mean, after you go out and you do this for a while, and the cameras that me and you are using right now are of the brainchild of Jeremy.
Yep.
So the things that we're picking up on our cameras aren't just the average night vision camera. And this is the PDA from Paranologies that we're talking about, that we're both fortunate enough to own, where Jeremy takes his degrees and his heart and his soul, and he converts cell phones over to full spectrum, gives you the opportunity to be able to broadcast live on location or whatever for Facebook, for YouTube, whatever it is you want to do. But he hit it right on the head. The camera in some of these phones are better than anything that you have in your arsenal. But believe that.
You're right.
Believe that. The clarity on some of these phones that they make nowadays is just ridiculous. So, and his lighting, the illumination of the full spectrum that you're seeing, you don't get any of the halo effect. You don't get any of that spotlight. The whole fucking room is lit up.
Yep. That's what's so great about his illuminators, which I'm a huge fan of, is he does the orbital illuminators where it's like it's on a rounded edge, and so you don't have that halo effect because the light is going all across the room,
right.
Complete, 180. It's covering everything, and you just can't get that. You can go and buy these illuminators from people that are selling them for $200 a piece and not get the quality of the $80 one that Jeremy's selling. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. His stuff is just amazing. And at no point do I ever want to compete with Jeremy. He does what he does. If I come up with an idea, like, it's going to be separate from what he does. But his stuff is just absolutely amazing, man.
Yeah, no. You see, but that's the whole thing, man, is like, when I talked about your passion as far as making communication, I put that together with Brian, and your passion to make quality gear, I put that together with Jeremy. You guys have a lot of the same, and I don't think, it's like when Jeremy was on the show, I had him on a while back. He's going to be on again soon. His application's about to come out soon, so I'm going to have him and Danny on, and we're going to talk about EV51. We're going to talk about the new deal, but when you have good people, you're not in it to compete with them. You're learning, and you're taking that to your level and saying, okay, this is what I want to do. And Jeremy said straight up on the show, he goes, man, I've got so many fucking people out there backwards engineering my shit. It's ridiculous. And you're gonna have that too, though, bro. You know what I mean?
I know.
When you make something that works, people are gonna try and bite that shit. It's just the way that it's gonna be for you. And I'm sorry that you got to travel that road, but there's nothing that compares to what the actual person does. You know what I mean?
Yep. But at the end of the day, dude, like, if people want to reverse engineer anything I do, dude, I don't give a damn. I have a well-paying job that I don't care if I make a dime from what I do.
I understand.
I'm just trying to come up with something. Like, my whole philosophy, like, I can, even Steve Huff in his last video, his farewell video, or I'm coming back video, or whatever they posted like yesterday, he talked, about, like, you can't get your mind to stop thinking about it. And that's true. That's my mind is always thinking, what can I do next? What can I do next?
Right.
But I'm thinking about what can I do that's not been done and that's different? And how can I think of communicating or creating a device to detect things that are not already out there? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm a huge fan of experimental equipment, and I reach out to a lot of people that I know that are building experimental stuff, and I'm like, hey, I want it. Whether you think it works or not, I want it because I want to try it. I'm a huge fan of experimental stuff and trying new things. Don't keep recreating the same thing over and over. Try new stuff.
Exactly.
Jeremy has a thing that he posted a teaser on. I swear it's probably like 8 months ago, and I'm getting pissed off that he's not put it out yet.
Are you talking about the Ouija board, fucking the illuminated Ouija board?
Yes, dude, the EMF triggered digital keyboard.
I've seen it too, bro.
Dude, I think it's called the Spectroscope or something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my God, I want that so bad.
I mean, what kind of mind comes up with that? I mean, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. It's next level shit. And
yep, it takes a unique person to think of stuff like that, for sure.
But then you have the people that have been in the field for 20 years. I've been doing this 20 years and never used a Spectrum anything. But you got those guys out there, and they're fucking using dowsing rods, or, and dude, I love Ouija boards. I think that they're intense. I've had, god damn, bro, that's a hell of a piss. Are you pissing on my show?
I'm sorry, dude. I've drank a lot of beer on this show.
Oh my goodness, it goes down in history. Hang on.
Landon Wells.
Better clip that one out.
Landon, this is Lucifer. Can you hear me?
Oh my God. Here we go.
Oh boy.
I've been talking to Satan again.
You're talking to the devil. And you just broadcasted a piss live.
I didn't mean for you to hear that.
You just earned some fucking brownie points in hell, buddy. You just earned some brownie points in hell. That was pretty fucking awesome. Alright, I gotta go now.
Thanks, Lou. Yeah, that's what happens when you pee on the air. Hey, you know what? Speaking of peeing on the air, let's take we're going to take 2 minutes. We're going to play your commercial again. And
well, you're 2 minutes late for that.
We're going to come up with a trigger word. Let's just say, every time we say Steve Huff, we'll take a break. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Dave with 51 Areas Paranormal Talk Radio. If you happen to be in the market for your very own SLS camera, I have found the hidden treasure in the field. Landon and Jerry of the Paranormal Response Team are doing something incredible for all investigators, single or with your team. To your door, you can get your very own SLS camera shipped to your house for $299. And it's incredible because not only do they send you the camera, they send you a couple of videos, show you how to use it. And if you have any questions, you just contact them, and their customer service is through the roof. They will help you out. I'm talking through experience here dealing with these guys. They are 100% class, and they're doing something great because the technology that you're paying for is just outrageous on some of these sites. But to your door, $299 shipped, and you're on your way. Then you can be just like Zach. Just like Zach. Tell him I sent you, man. Paranormal Response Team on Facebook.
Was compact.
For
Dip.
that.
And
Hey guys, when it comes to using ITC applications, if you've looked at Google Play, you'll see that there's a ton of applications out there. And there's a handful of them that actually work. Echovox Classic, Echovox 3.0, and the newest member of the family, Echovox EVX, are definitely in my to-go app list. They are simply amazing, and they get me some of the most incredible responses that I could ask for. So if you're in the market to try something new instead of using your dowsing rods, check out Echovox, Google Play. Talking all things paranormal. One of the longest shows I think I've ever done. And it's just... We got doors going off. But yeah, it's one of the longer shows I think I've ever done. It's just fun because I'm just rapping with a friend, and now we're talking a little bit about equipment, a little bit about experience, a little bit about whatever. But Landon, what would you say is the one thing that you had happen to you that made you maybe think about quitting? Did you have that one experience where you were just like, man, this is scaring the shit out of me?
Oh, that's a very good question, man. I will say the most legitimate experience that I've had is that experience of that sleep paralysis. So I've never had anything that's frightened me that bad. So yeah, I feel like since I started off with that, I don't know if anything will scare me enough. You know what I mean?
Really?
I don't think there's ever been a moment where I said I want to quit. I think there's just been moments where I said, okay, I need to change my thinking on what I believe or what my understanding of it is currently. You know, so I'm constantly evolving as to what I understand now.
Right.
And then you just have to keep growing off of that. But I don't think there's ever been a moment where I'm like, okay, I need to quit this. You know, there's never been that moment.
I think, I told you about, being attacked and we talked about the Steve Huff thing. I've suffered an attack. I've suffered a full-on attack to where it altered who I was as far as how I acted. I don't call it a possession. I call it but I was affected by whatever was going on at this place. And it pretty much rendered me unconscious for almost 8 hours. I just had to end up at the end of it. I was just like, I just need to lay down and I need to be done. And as soon as I came to at 2:00 in the morning, I was like, let's get the fuck out of this place. I want to leave right now. So I get the whole, people can be attacked and affected by the spirits that are in the location, whether they're good, negative, or whatever. I think once in my life I actually had a run-in with a demonic force. And the reason that I say that, I think it is because the book that we were messing with that conjured it was about that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Whatever brought it forward You know, it was had to be something that we said or read in that book. And it was a totally different thing. That attack was it wasn't physical. It wasn't something that was being led on to me. It was the whole room was fucking being flipped upside down, and 2 people were witnessing this. You know, a stuffed animal falling into somebody. I mean, just an amazing, crazy situation. But, you know, as to where you're physically affected, you know, nobody else saw what was happening to me. I just knew it, and I felt it, and I was like, oh, I'm fucked up right now. I need to lay down. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So when
Go ahead.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Your floor.
I think there's only been one case that I've ever done. Now, you got to understand, I was with another group prior to Paranormal Response Team, and Jerry and I both were with this group. And the whole reason we broke off from them and started our own is because we didn't agree with some of the things that they were doing. We didn't agree with the client communication, the evidence reveal, things like that.
Right.
Because we take this very, very seriously, and we really are trying to help people, and, you know, whatever we need to do to make people have a sense of peace at the end of it.
Right.
We really want that to happen. And, you know, we were part of another group where we didn't really have control of that. So that, you know, we started this group only in, I think November of 2016. So we haven't even been going a whole year with Paranormal Response Team. And, you know, again, it comes back to the customer service aspect. Like,
right.
You have to take care of these people. But there's only ever been one case where something has been so intense to me that I had to walk out of the location. And it was actually at a resident's house. I had my mail meter that has the REM pod attachment to it.
Right.
And it was just nonstop going. I was getting some of the highest EMF readings that I've ever got. And I did a normal sweep, you know, before we start, and
right.
Nothing was going off in that area. But it was so intense, man. And like, I was recording on my voice recorder, and, you know, I have my headphones in it so that I can hear it live as it's happening. And just some of the things that it was saying, and like the energy in there, I had to walk out. That was the only time I've ever walked out of the location, because I'm one of those guys, like, I don't want a flashlight, I don't want nothing. I just want to go in and go full blast for it, you know. But
right.
At that one, I was like, guys, I need to step out of here. Like, this is really intense.
Right.
Know?
Right.
But I've never had that experience where I was like, I think I need to quit. And I don't know if I ever will, because if I ever get to that point, it's just because it's something that I don't understand, and I need to learn more about it, you know?
Right. See, with me, what happened when I was younger, I wasn't even in, you know what I mean? The word paranormal wasn't even created at that point. You know, when I was messing around with the stuff, I was messing around with my friend, but, you know, I never thought, I always thought, like, I gotta find Jesus.
Right.
Now, honestly, I was like, man, if the devil's that fucking strong, I can only imagine, you know. So, you know, you're young and you make stupid mistakes and you do shit and you mess with stuff that you're not supposed to mess with. You don't get it. But I honestly think that messing with that stuff, like I told you about when I was younger, the triggers of, you know, seeing that fucking mask go through the wall when I was 8 or 9 or 10 or however old I was, you know, when you wake up and you remember that kind of stuff, then as you start to go through life, you learn more about the spirits and demonic things or negative energies, and you go, wow, that happened to me when I was a kid, so that had to be, you know what I mean? So the puzzle pieces start fitting together. Mm-hmm. You know, where I'm going.
You understand more as you grow.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say where I'm going with this. I have no fucking idea. But what, well, you know, I'm just trying to say that, you know, things lead to other things. And when you're messing with stuff like, I mean, what you're doing right now at 25, I can only imagine if you stay in this industry, what you're going to be doing at 50.
Right. And that's what I look forward to, man. I'm the same way. I don't even know what the future holds, but I know that I'm relentless, and I'm going to continue doing what I do. I'm going to continue helping people. I'm going to continue growing. I'm going to continue evolving equipment and things that people have never seen before. But I seriously don't think I'll ever quit. I don't think I can. Like, it truly is like an addiction almost.
I was just like, every time, I was like, that whole little spew right there was just perfect. I mean, it just shows who you are, the passion you have, you put it into the quality of your gear. You know, you're going to be seeing on some shows coming up in the future, and I'm loving that for you. You know, it's really cool, man. You know, that you take it, and as I'm giving him compliments, he hangs up on me. Did you hang up?
No, I hear you.
But, I mean, you take that same passion and, you know, you're going to evolve on it. You're going to grow from it like you did from your first camera sale to where you are now, you know. And people that are out there that have money in their pocket that want to level their game up, and you want to see these kind of things that you see on your favorite television shows, but legitimately because you know that there's no Hollywood going into it. I mean, it's people like Landon that make that happen for the average American, because I ain't got $1,500. Fucking dude, that's like a water heater in my house. If something broke in my house, then you know what I mean, I got to be able to do that. I can't fucking buy a water heater to take on a ghost hunt. You know, that's the average American thought. But you know, you put it around $200-$300 like that. Wow, that's, dude, yeah, every team should have it, because honestly, it adds to it. It adds that next level shit. You know, if not, then go back to playing a Ouija board.
Yep, and there's so much like skepticism around Ouija boards, and so much theory around it. I personally, I think I've told you this before, I own 32 Ouija boards. I bought my 33rd one today. I own a lot of them. I've never used them in my entire life because I can't find anybody that will do it with me because they're all so scared of it. But I just love the whole theory behind it, you know, and the skepticism behind it. And
I was a total skeptic.
I don't know.
I was a total skeptic for the longest time until I saw one work. And the one that worked actually happened to be a piece of cardboard that yours truly made, and we used shot glass for the pendulum. I think that's what it's called, something like that, where you put your fingers on. You know, so
it's called the planchette.
The planchette. There you go. And you know, you got your fingers on that and shit. Okay, so it was me and this chick. We were like 18, and we were sitting there joking around. Is there anything here with this? Laughing, right? And then something fucking went,
yeah, motherfucker, I'm here with you.
And I was like, dude, you know what I mean? But when the thing started moving, I saw the look on her face as I looked up across the board. And I know that I wasn't moving it, because I looked up to laugh at her thinking she was trying to trick me. But I saw the fear in her face. Now, Ouija boards are a total trip, and I think a totally different side of, you know, if you use applications or Ghostbox or whatever, that's fine. And they always say that, well, this application is 10,000 times stronger than any old Ouija board, because this is they can use the electronics for their strength, and they can vibe off of that. That may be true, but anytime I've ever had any spiritual contact or been in a room where people were making contact, there's nothing out there that compares to dealing with a spiritual experience through a witch board, a Ouija board, an angel board, whatever you want to call it. Because I think that those spirits that are attracted to those things don't need the power of electronics to do what they're going to do. I think you're dealing with some extremely strong negative things when I think that the Ouija board is absolutely a doorway for some very bad shit to come through it. I don't know if, you know, people are going to listen to this and they're going to go, oh, pussy, whatever. But honestly, every negative, extremely negative situation, except other than the one I told you about at the hotel, have always been through the board.
Yeah.
When something,
and a lot of people say that.
Well, dude, I mean, the strength that they're using to power that versus vibing off of your electronics or your batteries or whatever, I mean, if it's strong enough to move that, it's strong enough to mess up your day. And I don't think a lot of people take that into, account of, if you don't know what you're doing, you're in trouble messing with that shit.
Yep. Yeah, you're totally right. And, I've heard a lot of people, they've asked me questions about like, okay, now that, there's a lot more evidence being revealed and a lot more experiences that are happening now than in the past, in going way back. I don't think it necessarily means that the activity has increased or anything like that. I think it's more that the technology has improved to where we can actually communicate and understand these things.
Get more, get more for less, basically. I mean, I totally vibe that because, for something to be strong enough, not every fucking man in the world could lift a car off of his wife, but there are some people out there that can lift a car off their wife, and they don't need anything. They just have that strength. We don't all have that level of strength and, and spiritual awareness to deal with that kind of shit.
Yep. No, you're totally right. And that's actually a crazy idea that somebody can even do that. But there's definitely accounts that has happened where people can literally lift a car off somebody. And I don't know if that comes down to just their strength or whatnot, but I think there's definitely some type of influence for that.
But the jewel of this whole story is that you have created your own type of Ouija board that you've not brought up yet. And I'm waiting for that to come in.
I figured you were going to ask about that. So again, though, it all comes down to that I have never used a Ouija board. My group does not condone Ouija boards. I'm really the only one that even has like an interest in it, right? But from my, electronics building and things like that, I have designed specific types of Ouija boards. So I have taken old Ouija boards and I've added my own type of spirit box that is actually under the Ouija board and incorporated in it so that you can not only have that visual experience of what's going on through the board, but you can also hear it audibly. So, you have the spirit box, which, I mean, technically, I guess you could just set a spirit box next to a Ouija board and try to get the same thing.
Right.
But I've really incorporated it into the board. So it's literally the board with the spirit box into it.
And energy.
And I think other people...
And the user's energy going through the board as well, tying into everything.
Exactly. And again, I just try to build off that. So I've actually built another board that uses some small infrasound generators in it so that it permeates into the board, that infrasound, that vibration into the board, with the idea that can actually improve or help the communication even more. There's a lot of theories around infrasound right now.
I think it's just brilliant. It's a brilliant thought.
Yeah. So it just comes down to, you have to think outside the box. Okay, this is what we currently have, and this is what's actually it's working. But how can we improve on it to make it even better? So I think adding that infrasound into it just adds more energy to them,
as well as frequencies.
Exactly. Yeah. And once you tap into that frequency, which there's actually a number on a specific frequency. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is.
Fucking Huff said he cracked the code in that video, dude.
Yeah. Oh, with his gold box. Oh, because he added another pedal to his fucking box, that all of a sudden he's cracked the code. No, I'm sorry. That is not the
let me
case.
tell you what, man. I got some motherfuckers that mess with guitar amplifiers that crack the codes. Want to hear their names? Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Eddie Van Halen, fucking George Lynch, Tosin Abasi, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani. These guys crack the fucking code on guitar amplifiers, okay?
Yep.
You're not going to crack a fucking code on a guitar amplifier better than their guitar techs and all the people that work for fucking Marshall or Gibson or Fender or Jackson. Believe me,
Yep.
there's people out there that know the fucking code on how to make a guitar amplifier work. And I'm telling you,
Yep.
Steve Huff isn't the guy that cracked the fucking code. Okay, that happened a long time ago. And the way that guitar amplifiers are supposed to be fucking used. All right, rant over. Rant over.
And you even, right? And you even, we talked about this, I think before we even went live on air, is that, if that were the case, if these guitar amplifiers and these pedals worked, how were people not already getting communication way before Steve Huff?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, these pedals were not created by Steve Huff.
I'm
These were
sure.
not implemented before him. Like, how come Jimi Hendrix or someone like that hasn't
I'm sure.
been like,
I'm sure Jimi Hendrix heard voices.
I got communication.
Yeah, he did get communication, but from all the fucking drugs he was on. You know what I mean? He may have heard.
Yeah.
He may have heard a voice say, "Damn, Jimi Hendrix, you a bad motherfucker." But then it could have been it could have been him that said it versus fucking. It's just, come on, man. There are all these guitar gods out there that had technology and millions of dollars on their fingertips, and they're fucking dialing in these amps, and they're doing all this shit. They're designing pickups, they're designing the electronics, and they're helping these companies back then that were starting out become the Mecca Walmart of guitar amplifiers. Doesn't anybody think that maybe they would have heard something in the studio recording all the thousands and millions of records that have been recorded from every band out there? None of them got no fucking voices, but Steve Huff did.
Yep. And I think and this is going pretty deep, and I don't know if you have actually even looked at this, but recently Josh Lewis of Hope Paranormal went to Steve Huff, his house, and this was actually the last sessions that he's ever done.
I got a
before
rag.
He says he's quit.
I got a rag.
Right, which he's said many times that he's going to quit, and then puts out a bunch of boxes so he can sell a whole bunch of them, and for ridiculous amounts of money. But what's really interesting, and I kind of drove a little bit deep into it, is that if you watch the videos from Josh Lewis from Hope Paranormal's videos of the sessions that him and Steve Huff did,
he's the guy in the
compare it.
He's the guy in the Baby Gap fucking t-shirt, the tank top that didn't fit
Yes.
him.
He had like the Ghostbuster shirt on in one of the clips.
Yeah. Buy a shirt that
if
fits, bro. Buy a shirt that fits.
Right.
eBay one of them fucking ghost boxes and get you a fucking shirt that fits like a man shirt. You look like you're in a motherfucking bra, bro. Okay?
Shopping at the Baby Gap, huh?
Look like a village person, like he was gonna bust out the YMCA right after the retirement speech. Holy shit.
Oh god. But really, if you dive into watching his video and his version of those sessions versus Steve Huff's versions of the sessions, you'll see two completely different things. If you watch the Steve Huff ones, you're going to see only direct communication with no random spitting out of words from his boxes. But if you watch Josh Lewis's, you'll see the same things, which he gets some of the same replies, but you'll see the in-between of those, and you'll see where they go 2 minutes or 3 minutes with nothing but just random gibberish coming through. Right? So that kind of adds to the effect that, is Steve Huff's videos really real, or are they fake? You know what I mean?
Man.
Which, I got to give Steve credit. I mean, he does...
But you know what? And wait a minute though. You know what? Now, kind of second, I'm on Steve Huff's defense for a minute. Don't get used to it. But I think Steve has crossed over from being in the paranormal to being in the entertainment business. Okay.
Yep.
And it's just what's happened. It's what happens to. I'm going to use music as an analogy here. Bands in general. I'm a metalhead. Okay, I love rock and roll. But when bands first start out and they're really fucking sick of eating at 7-Eleven fucking twice a day off $1 hot dogs, that aggression carries over into the people that they are at that time. they get signed, they become successful, and they're no longer the aggressive seeker to dominate. Now they're seeking financial status to pay for everything that they bought when they were coming up. You know what I mean? Steve, yep. I think Steve Huff, and this is my fucking 100% on him. I'm not going to change this because this is it. I think Steve had a very big passion to make connections and do the spiritual world thing. But after you get so many subscribers of people following you around and you're making successful sales, your lifestyle goes up and you need to pay for things. So now you're not so much that hungry fucking person anymore. Now you are successful, and now you're playing to the people, and that doesn't make you fucking legit anymore. Now you're an entertainer because you're there entertaining people and their deal. If Steve fucking Huff would put a disclaimer on any of his videos that, hey, this is entertainment purposes, but he goes the exact opposite. He's like,
yep,
this
is 100% real communication.
Yes, this is not a fucking joke. This is real spirit communication. You know, and you're like, okay, wow. There's like you're in this show, but you know, yep. and it's I'm not ragging on the dude, but if he just came out and was like, you know, put a fucking disclaimer on your stuff, and then people won't talk about you in a negative way. And I don't think anything we've said tonight has been a negative way, other than taking away some of the self-proclaimed I cracked the codes, because that, as a musician myself, I took offense to, because there's nobody that's going to crack a fucking code on a guitar amplifier that isn't a fucking player, okay? And I know he's a guitar player. Steve Huff is a musician. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, he is. That's where
it makes sense.
That's where, yeah.
How he's building this shit.
That's where the fucking whole guitar thing came from. You know, he knows about pedals. He knows about amplifiers. I give him all the credit in the world for that. But you know, you notice how he kind of doesn't tell people that. Yeah, you know, he does. I think in one video where he talks about playing guitar or shows himself playing guitar or something. But you know, as a musician, I've been now. There's something I can consider myself a doctor and a lawyer, and probably fucking could have got a couple other degrees. And the time that I played music, if I would have went to school, I could have been an astronaut. You know what I mean? Other than the fact that I don't fly. Yep. But I made a choice to study a different thing in life, and music and sounds and fucking frequencies and all that shit is something that I've studied for a long time. I was an audio-visual engineer in Las Vegas at a very well-known hotel down there. I was there for a while, you know, so I understand these type of things. But when I see somebody come out and fucking claim that they've cracked some fucking code, like fucking Tom Hanks is going to make a new movie on and go out there fucking with Da Vinci on one side and fucking, you know, Nicolas Cage on the other, you know, and fucking solve this mad tone thing that this is how I'm being led to believe where Steve Huff's videos are going. He's talking about all these frequencies and all these fucking things, and as a musician I'm listening and I'm saying bullshit. The reason I'm saying that is because I've dealt with effects, pedals and amplifiers for fucking 30 years, dude. You're not going to tell me you cracked a code to make spirit communication. You're not going to fucking do that. Not using a goddamn fucking, you know, a fucking reverb pedal and a $200 guitar amplifier. It's not fucking happening. It's not.
No, you're right.
Dude, I just went on this total fucking anger rant, but you know, it's because I care about the people in the community, and I don't want to see people fucking robbed. You know?
You're right. I mean, dude.
Fuck.
The fact that he goes through and says, which even on his last video, he said that his gold box cost him $2,500, whatever. There's no fucking way, dude. There's no way. I know exactly what pedals he's using besides whatever one he added for his gold box. And there's no way that it adds up to $2,400. There's no way, dude.
Well, you know what? Being in the industry the way that I'm in the industry, I can't tell it. I can't tell it, but I'm going to give you a little roundabout story. I actually fucking... I know Steve Huff's story that fucking made me really frown. Really fucking frown on him. And I know it's not a story. I know it's a fact. And that's all I can go into. I'm just telling you that the guy's a fucking asshole for what he did to a friend of mine. I just fucking despise bad business.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
You're totally right, man.
You know, I can be friends with a criminal. It doesn't make me a criminal. I can be friends with a gangbanger. It doesn't make me a gangbanger. I can be friends with a preacher. I'm not in the choir. I'm myself. And the people that you associate with should never make others think that you're that.
Yep.
Judge me for who I am, and we're good. But don't put me in that classification, or don't make me that person, you know? And these are things that are evolving about this story. But I'm just telling you, it's a very fucking disrespectful thing to do to a very good person. And it was simply because Steve fucking was being an ass. And
yep.
It's the truth.
And at the end of the day, dude, like, his videos are very compelling, but you got to think, what does he do for a real job?
He's a photographer.
You know, besides paranormal?
He's a photographer.
He's a photographer?
Yeah.
Yes.
In Phoenix.
He knows. Yes. He knows that stuff. And what he does is it's very convincing. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he does everything he does is by himself. Right? So nobody can deny what he's doing because nobody else is there to prove it. You know, he's done things with Chill Seekers, and he's done things with Josh Lewis of Hope Paranormal.
Yeah.
And things like that. But the thing that really gets me is that when they put out their videos of what happened, it's not the same as what he puts out, you know?
Right.
So you can tell the editing and the thing is, with all the negativity that comes around Steve Huff, which again, he does what he does, that's fine. I'm really not hating on him, but he really asks for that negativity because he continuously does jump cuts.
But you know what though, dude, and I'm not hating on him as the paranormal field. My fucking anger and frustration comes with him as a musician. Because I understand what all these fucking pedals do. I understand what the amplifiers do. Like I told you, I could have a doctrine and I could be a fucking lawyer and a police and a fireman. You know what I mean? With the amount of time that I put into being a musician. I play multiple instruments, okay? I also fucking mix down and produce and do all that stuff. But I just take offense to it when somebody comes out and tells me something like that. I would have fucking edited "I cracked the code" out of the video.
Yep. I wouldn't even said that.
Nah, dude. You know, I mean, so yeah, you know, I guess it could be, considered hating on him, but, you know, if you just put a fucking disclaimer on your shit that said this is for entertainment purposes, nobody would have a thing to fucking say because it could either be real or not. But when you're telling me that it's 100 fucking % legit, you know, goddamn.
The fact that he even has to say that says something, you know? Like he's adding that thought into your head that this is 100% real spirit communication.
And here's the truth. It could be.
It very well could be.
It very well could be. There's another truth. Steve, you could be onto something. You could have cracked a code. But not just with a guitar amplifier and pedals. I'm sorry. But Everything you say could be 100% truth, but you're not telling us the whole thing of what you're using on your spirit box versus what you're selling. Because you can't just sell I cracked the code to everybody, could you?
Yep. Nope. And I can say that from firsthand experience, dude. I bought the shit. You know.
Well, yeah,
but I bought what he used in all these videos, and mine does not sound anything like what yours is sounding like in the videos. Especially when you made 12 videos with the exact box that I use.
I know, they're pretty fucking talkative. I get it, man. But, I mean, you know, the thing is that if there was that disclaimer that I keep talking about, because if you just put the disclaimer on it, then people can't be mad. You know, there was one time, you know, and I follow him on Facebook. I do. I've asked him for multiple interviews to come on and talk with me, but he won't. Imagine that. You know why? It's not because I've never done this before. I've never gave my honest Steve Huff opinion and shit before. But it's because of who I know and who I associate with is why he won't come on.
Yep. If he does not like somebody that you give a crap about, he is not going to do it.
Well, you know what, man, and all due respects, I am very, 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 very good friends with Danny Roberge, Big Beard Studios. You say that name, and a lot of people, dude, he gets the same type of hate as Steve Huff does. People go after Danny, dude. They do. They want to attack him. Every time he's on my show, I've got somebody fucking wanting to chime in and say something negative to the dude. You know? But honestly, he's been nothing but a great friend to me. So I do take offense to people being attacked in the community. And I hate to kind of do this reverse thing onto Steve. But, dude, Danny never came out and told me he cracked the code. He never came out and fucking said, you know, this is fucking God's box. You know? Yep. He just, dude, Danny is fucking up front. He will tell you exactly what is on his mind at that very second.
I've seen that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, at least you know what you're getting when you're in a conversation with Dan. If he doesn't like what you say, dude, he's told me, are you a fucking idiot today? You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know,
he will definitely let you know his opinion.
And a lot of people strive from that. And but dude, so do I, because you know what? Honesty exists in their words.
Mm-hmm.
He tells you exactly how he feels. And people go, fuck, that guy's fucking mean, man. Fucking won't make a fucking application upgrade for my iOS app. You know, dude, I mean, you know, it gets old after a while. Even as somebody who's just friends with him and in the Echovox community, you get sick of people coming on the fucking, on the board going, you know, if Danny would just upgrade this fucking iPhone application and did that. But there's a lot of fucking shit that goes into dealing with iOS and Apple. You know what I mean? They wouldn't give up.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when Apple was getting sued by the fucking government to give up some personal information in a terrorist motherfucking phone? And Apple was like, fuck you, we ain't giving you shit. Well, imagine what it's like to get a fucking application on one of their phones. You know what I mean? Yep. That's why people go, oh, is it for Apple? No, it's for Android only. Well, that's fucking crazy. Well, you know, Danny's like, well, go on fucking eBay and buy an Android. They're $25. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Right? Not to mention how much like bullshit you have to go through to get something on Apple.
Right. So, you know, a lot of developers just don't fuck with it. But not Danny Roberge. Not Danny Roberge. Speaking about that, there's a lot of good shit coming for Apple. And I know for a fucking fact, if you have an Echovox and you're on Apple, just hang in there. And you'll come back here and go, dude, fucking, you were right. Well, that's because I am. And I'm telling you honestly right now, Danny's going to be all over iOS. There you go. Now, just hang out and wait.
But anyone that jumps on iOS is going to take take that big piece of territory because nobody's out there.
Right.
You know, I mean, Keith Weldon, who put out the Spiritist,
Yep.
he's on iOS.
And there's another guy. I mean, in this field that everything I see with Keith and Carissa both, I really fucking vibe it because nothing seems to be like, you know, staged or overdone or. It's just like,
nope.
You know, it's fucking legit. I really do. The Chill Seekers are fucking coming up, man. They are coming up.
Yep.
They are the biggest force. You know, you can have Destination America fucking, you know, shows all day long. But I think that Keith and Carissa are actually going to fucking end up like on a major, dude. You know what I mean? Like on a major fucking deal. Because they're brilliant and they turn shit down. They've already had a fucking
They're smart
TV show.
enough to.
Right.
Yes.
They're like,
smart enough to know when the time is right.
Right.
You
I
know?
mean,
and I truly believe they're not ones that are going to sell out to these networks to whatever they want. They're going to do what they do, and that's it. And if they think for a second that the network is influencing them, they're going to quit. They're not going to do it. And I truly believe that. I respect them so much. I absolutely love the Chill Seekers.
You know,
Keith.
Same, dude. You know, but Keith fucking, he's very passionate and he gets some great responses. But here's the thing that not only is Carissa a bathtub hot chick, but she's extremely educated. She's fucking, she's in school. She's fucking rocking it up. She is a good, they're both great, great influences in this field that are needed right now. They're needed right now.
That is 100% truth. They are. You need that realism to this field because of how much bullshit there is out there.
They're young. They're driven.
Passionate.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you know, their shows are fucking good. You know, their shows are good. And for that not to be on a major, it's a mistake somewhere. But I can tell you right now, they know enough people in this industry, which they're really close to Steve Huff, and I don't mean to, you know, say anything like that, but they're on each other's fucking videos and stuff, you know.
Yep.
But they're so different, you know.
And you know, even when you had them on their show, now you got to understand, I've listened to every single show that you've put out. So,
well, you know what? I'm just letting you know right now, you're on the longest show I've ever done. We're just fucking shooting
there
shit.
You go. Hey, I get to break records. I get
there
to
you
piss
go.
on the show, and I get to
yeah. You did too. You took a pee, man. God damn. Landon's known for
man.
That's just that. You know why? Because that shit down there is too big. That's why everybody heard you peeing, bro. Fuck. It was like I was at the fucking zoo and the fucking giraffe decided to piss. Holy shit, is it raining outside, Dad? No, that's the giraffe peeing, son.
Oh my God.
So anyway, hey man, remember I'm a Southerner too. I know what's going down.
Yeah, right. We don't give a crap down here, man.
I just got a OMG in the chat room.
Let me guess, is it from Pam?
No. That was from the old lady telling me that I'd better shut up.
Okay. Well, you better listen. You don't want to get in trouble.
Dude, fucking great left hook. But yeah, dude, I mean, you know, it's easy to sit here and point out the negative, which I have done. And not because of, dude, I'm not saying that Steve Huff doesn't talk to spirits.
Yeah, I'm not saying that either.
Yeah,
I truly believe he does in some capacity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that. I've never said that it... maybe I did say it was fraud-like, but I wasn't meaning about what he's accomplished in the spirit world. What I'm talking about is electronics, and it's because of my background that I get offended by that shit. But as far as what he's done spiritually, I believe that the dude has a major fucking connection. I do.
Yep.
Because
I truly believe that too.
I think that that's what brought him to where he's at. But once once you get to where you're at, you got to maintain it. Because you yourself and every paranormal investigator out there will tell you, regardless of what you use, when you go out to a location, sometimes ain't nothing going to happen.
Yep.
You know, so if it was that easy, honestly, wouldn't we just all turn on a motherfucking radio and put on some static and be talking to some ghosts? I think that there's a certain frequency that you got to hit, and I get that. But when you're using an application with a guitar amplifier, unless that application is dialed into that frequency, you know, you're going to have a hard time hitting it. Because
there's nothing in that amplifier that's going to hit that frequency.
Right. And you could play something, and even with a tone, you can adjust tone to frequency. Okay? You can adjust a tone up to, you know, to blend in with sound. That's how glass breaks. Like when somebody hits the sound with their voice, it's because it hits a certain perfect pitch, and that perfect pitch has a frequency, and shit pops.
Yep.
Okay? That's how this is where my insult comes from about guitar amplifiers, and why I don't think that my Bluetooth speaker is any different from the Portal that I had. Is because it's not playing it on frequencies, man. You know, it's playing whatever the frequency that's coming through it is. And I don't hear any of the app sellers, Anthony Sanchez, or anybody that works with Huff claiming this frequency. You know, their shit just broadcasts at everything sounds the same, doesn't it? You know?
Yep.
So
and you never hear them even say anything about a frequency.
Right.
You know?
But that's
it's all about the application or the device that it's coming through.
Right.
And that's what they're selling, right?
I mean, reverb doesn't change frequency. It adds a wetness effect. Right now, watch, see, you can't hear it, Landon, but right now I'm talking in reverb, and that's what ghosts do. You know, so as I'm talking right now, I'm in reverb on the radio, and it sounds great, but still no ghost. Still no ghost.
Right.
When you listen to that back, you'll totally get what I was doing right there. But I mean,
yeah, because I'm sure I don't hear it.
Yeah, but you know, honestly, I can use all kinds of effects like that, but it doesn't change frequency. It doesn't change frequency.
You're right.
Equalizers change frequencies. You know, it's just weird. It's fucking weird.
And I even go back to, man, like we said earlier before, like he has said that he's quitting 1 million times and all this stuff, and he always comes back. He's going to come back from what he's doing now, whether people believe that or not. He's coming back in some capacity. I don't know if he's going to come back and build boxes like he was or whatnot, but he's going to do something.
Well, he's going to do a book.
Think the T-shirt. Yeah, I even think the T-shirt that he was wearing gives you some indication of what he's coming back with.
It did. It had a Jesus cross on it, dude.
Oh my God!
It had a crucifix on it. I you know, and here's the funny thing. It was off just Facebook. Somebody took a still of him in the shirt and posted it up, and it said at the top of it, she said, "I'm so afraid for my life right now from devils, but I had this huge batch of T-shirts printed up right before I retired." And, you know, but that's just the general public of them. You know, I don't dislike Steve Huff if he just put that disclaimer. Just put up a disclaimer that it could be for entertainment, and I'll be entertained.
Or do the shit live. You know, to where there's no way you can manipulate it. You know, like.
Well, he
it's
did.
Just the heavily edited thing.
He did, though.
He's done it a couple times.
He did his live sessions, but they were for, I don't know how you would even get into them. I never went into them, but I saw the videos where, I'm going to do a live session with those of you involved, and then they went off. You know, you weren't allowed to watch any of that shit. So whatever happened there, I don't know, and I've never seen a video. And as far as I know, there could have been nobody selected. He could have just been fucking saying that. You know?
But still, the responses you get are not what he puts out in his videos.
Nah, man.
You know, he was a big influencer on even Jeremy Jones' Poltercom. You know, when he got that, he was getting some amazing responses, which he had nothing to do with what was coming through that, you know. But then all of a sudden, I'm not going to speculate on what happened, but all of a sudden he decided he's going to take his Poltercom that he paid, you know, $1,100, $1,000 for or whatever, and sell it for $600. I know who he sold it to.
Right.
But the thing is like now he's taken all those videos down completely.
Yeah.
So something's going on there, you know.
Well,
like
and
he only promotes his stuff, and that's what I don't agree with. You know what I mean? Like, I buy all sorts of shit, and I will tell you exactly what's happening. I even do live unboxing of things that I get. You know what I mean? And you're gonna see what I get. You know?
Right. Well, you should have done one.
Yeah.
Should have done one there, boy. That would have been a profitable video.
Right. I actually did one for Steve Huff's box, and I don't think I ever actually put it out, but I have it on my phone still. But you know, from my experience of what I bought from him, it arrived exactly as he said it would. Some of the settings changed on the pedals, and you know, even when he sells you a box, he's going to send you a video showing you how to use it. You know, because they're all designed a little bit different. They use different pedals and things like that. So he does do that. Yeah. But there was things that he didn't cover on some of them, because the box that I bought had 5 pedals on it, which most of them only have 3 to 4. Yeah. So there was a couple things he didn't cover, which I reached out to him, and he sent me pictures and said, okay, this is where it needs to be set and all that. So I got to give him credit there. But I from my experience,
it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to talk about, because you don't really. We have no right to say that he's not legitimate, because we don't fucking know. Is it possible that, you know, the movie Ted could be a prime example? You know, if that dude just stayed in his apartment all day and nobody fucking saw the bear, would it have been not real?
Right.
You know what I mean? If a guy fucking has a bear talking to him in his house, who am I to say that bear don't talk just because he's silent when I show up? You know what I mean?
You're right.
But, you know, when you putting these fucking things out there and you got a price tag that hefty on them. Now, we can go to GeoBox, too. We can pick on some motherfucking GeoBox, because GeoBoxes are beautiful. I think that they're one of the fucking coolest looking ghost boxes out there, because they incorporate something that I think is very important in spirit communication. No fucking spirits know what a portal is. They never seen no shit like that. But I love the vintage look of the old school radio. That, you know, the radio's been around for a while, so people can identify with that have, you know, lived in a long time frame. You know, they can see, you know, you look at a radio and you just kind of fucking know it's a radio, unless it's a secret radio built into a frog on the side of your fucking pool or some shit. You know what I mean? But in general, we know what a radio is, and that vintage look is something that's very attractive. And
and even what he incorporates into it, you know, in some of his Emmett House boxes or whatever that he's producing now, the boxes are built out of wood from a house that is known to be extremely haunted.
Right.
You know, so I like that aspect.
That's the next level shit. Next level shit. Yeah, right there.
You're thinking outside of the box, you know. You're not buying shit off Amazon. You're building your own thing.
Do I want this organ? Do I want this organ pine, or do I want this fucking haunted house fucking wood for my boxes? No brainer. But who thought of it first?
Yep.
You know what I mean? This is incredible.
That's what turned me on to this Afterlife box that I bought. You know, I bought the very first one that this dude actually built, and it's built in a 70-year-old radio cabinet. You know, it's got history. You know,
definitely.
That's one of the things that turned me on to
definitely
it.
A beautiful box. I'm not going to say that it's not. Even the EQ and the inner lighting and everything that he put into it, fucking brilliant. I mean, it's beautiful. Hang on, let me think. Not everything that he put into it, but everything that it resembles on the outside. You know, the candy, the eye candy. The radio's beautiful.
Yep. You're right. People buy off of perception and what they see.
Well,
So,
absolutely.
the look of it is one of the biggest sellers of it for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, but I don't know. At the end of the day, like, you know, when I design my boxes, I want to design them to where, you know, everybody who has their opinions can do it. You know what I mean? In different ways. Like if you just want to run, for example, if you just want to run the application with no effects on it at all, I'm going to have an input where you can do that. If you want to run it through where you can run your reverb just like Steve Huff's pedal and your echo and your, you know, noise reduction and all that, there's going to be an input for that. You know what I mean? Like I want this to be an application or a box where you can use it for multiple applications.
Right. Right.
Because you really need to experiment with all of that.
Right. I mean, I love delay. I love delay. And the reason that I love delay is because I'm fucking deaf from all the concerts I played in my life. And I never used ear protection when I was a younger guy out on the fucking road or playing with my bands or doing whatever. I never used ear protection. So now I suffer from it in my right ear. It's fucking pretty bad. But if I fucking have my delay on and I get a response to a question, it gives me the opportunity to hear it more than once. So I love that delay. And I'll have a 3-second delay on a lot of my shit to where it goes dut, 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 dut. You know, I'll hear no, 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 or yes, 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 or, you know, you can't buy that, buy that, buy that, buy that, you know.
Yep. That's one of the things, dude, is like when you're doing these sessions, you literally do have to play them back to hear half of the stuff that's coming through.
Mm-hmm.
If you have that delay, you can hear it as you go, and that's one of the reasons I really like the Spiritus app, because you can add that echo effect to where you can hear it multiple times.
And it's the same with Echovox for me too. And you have the one thing that, okay, if I compare the two on slapback or delay, Spiritus makes it super easy because the application's right there. It gives you the option to choose what you want. Or now with the new update, you just hit a button and it will, you know, it'll randomly go through certain effects. So it changes it. With the Echo in Echovox, you actually have the option to change the Echo delay. So you can make it go longer, or you make it go shorter, or whatever it is. That, you know, you have your preference, because everybody's ear's different. That's why the equalizer was created, to give you more treble, more bass, more mids, less, whatever, you know. But when that's the main difference as far as reverbs go. But the just the regular stock effect of Spiritus, it suits me just fine on location, because I hear it. I get a 1.5 back, basically, you know, that I can hear back before it fades out and it goes to the next. But to have the reverb, the phaser, I mean, you know, or the flange, or whatever that is, or the chorus, you know, you just swipe the screen and that fucking app is running. So I mean, I do. And Spiritus swears more than I do. I swear it does.
It really does. You're right.
Spiritus.
I don't know. I get a lot of swears out of Ethereal Box too.
Well, yeah. But I mean, that was one of the first applications that I really, really picked up vulgarity in.
Yep.
Now, I was called an asshole through Echovox. You know what I mean? And it was like, wow, that was really weird out of nowhere. This, you know, asshole. And I caught it on video too, so, you know, there's a video of that. But, you know, as far as vulgarity goes, man, I mean, fucking Spiritus will tell you straight up. And I've saw a video of many people getting ragged on. And what's weird is, like, it'll change, you know, it changes the tones, the voices and everything change. But the same voice is just ripping the same people, you know what I mean? So you're like, wow, you know, it didn't change, it didn't go to the next, it just came back around and it was just going the fuck off. So, you know, those kind of weird things that you witness other people go through are awesome. But Spiritus is definitely a legit application. The update, holy fuck, it's great now, really.
No, I know that update. that changed the game, man. I'm telling you. I bought Spiritus as soon as it first came out, and like I kept having that problem of it like
dying
shutting off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, that was a game changer when he fixed that. But it's cool that he realized that and fixed it.
You know what? I got to take a little credit. Because I actually have the email that before I did any of this radio shit, I actually contacted him. And Huff yelled at me once on one of their live feeds, which I've never told Keith this.
Oh, really? I want to hear this.
No, I'm going to tell you about it, man. I had been in contact via email about what I needed, what was happening with the application dying out on my phone. So I went in to find, and dude, I even went to the application store and tried a couple of those applications that say keep your phone awake or whatever. And I was trying to run that with that application, and it still fucking died out. My phones would. So if I went on location, I had to change all the settings in my phone so the phone wouldn't sleep and shit. And then you got to remember to do that and change it back. So it was just a fucking hassle. So
it was.
So I was like, okay, and I established this, and via email, he was like, okay, yeah, oh no, keep it awake, yeah, no problem. Oh, yeah, we're working on that. I'll put it in the app, no problem, right? So I was waiting, and I never got a fucking notification that there was an update for the app. So I didn't know. It had been out for a month. A month.
What?
Yeah, and I didn't know that there was an update for Spiritus, man. It was fucking, every time I started on my phone, I never got an update. So Steve Huff has them on, and he's doing a live feed. And I go into the chat room, and I was like, please update Spiritus for God's sake, right? And I just fucking, a couple exclamation points. And it was, that was it. And Steve turns around and he starts reading the comments, and he goes, update Spiritus for God's sake. Dave Miller, there was an update a month ago. Go to the Google Play Store and download it right now. And he turned around, and I was like, wow, I just got yelled at by Steve Huff on fucking live internet, man. And
You're famous.
It wasn't intentional. I was just like, please update it. I want it to work for me too, But
Right.
they had all that shit, and he yelled at me, and I was so happy that he did. I was like,
Right.
Steve Huff yelled at me. That was cool.
I feel like I got an email or something when it updated, and I don't remember. But I got it pretty quick, and like you said, and it changes the game. That he added all those effects, and I love the channel that it's it randomly scans through the banks.
Right.
I love that one.
I love the
use that one all
whisper.
the time.
I love the whisper mode on it, dude. I'm just like, wow,
Yep.
that's really cool. Really cool. Without giving anything away, I can't say the name of it, but do you know I'm actually in a couple of applications? Did you know that?
What'd you say now?
I said I'm actually in 2 applications.
Oh, are you? I did not know that.
Yes.
So your voice, huh?
My voice is actually in 2 applications.
So I'm going to assume that your voice is the one that always comes through as Satan, right?
No, seriously, there are 2 applications out on the market that my voice is actually a part of. And only
That's pretty cool.
I know what I read. And it's
There you
really
go.
cool. Because I watch videos of people using this shit, and I go, wow, that's cool. No,
That's my clip.
well, EV51 is no secret that, that's me and Danny in that application talking on this show. We just took the audio off the show and fucking put it into the app. There is going to be an update coming that's going to add another bank into that audio to make it a little bit more clear. So, and I'm really, really happy about that because, like I say, I have hard hearing, so I need this shit to come out, And Danny's like, dude, I can put out a fucking application anytime I want that says devil, 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 demon, 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 and fucking play people out, but I don't do that fucking shit, man.
And you know what? That sounds just like Danny.
You know, and
like Danny.
you gotta love it though, dude. There's some fucking honesty that nobody fucking wants to hear. But there's the fucking good side of Danny that nobody fucking, not nobody wants to hear, but nobody really does hear it. And I'm fucking telling you, this guy comes at me and, you know, I bring an idea to him and I'm fucking walking on eggshells because he's like Elvis of this shit, dude. He really is. He fucking, it's like, you know, you're going to Elvis and you're saying, hey, man, you know, I know you dig rock and roll and everything, but you need to try it this way. Because Elvis is going to turn around, he's going to look at you, and he's going to fucking punch you in the face because he knew fucking kung fu. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, but when I go to Danny like that, and I'm like, dude, you know, I'm getting a couple complaints about, you know, people not being able to hear clear enough. And he's like, well, that's because they're fucking stupid. You know? And I'm like, no, you know, but it's kind of, it's me too, dude, because I can't really hear. And then I'm like, well, you know, at the end of this long conversation, I'm like, you know, Dan, not everybody has your ear. Not everybody can hear the things that you hear. You know what I mean? You created a fucking major fucking whole fucking community off of this shit, off of your thought, and not everybody thinks or hears like you. And he was just like, yeah, okay, you know, all right, fuck it, we'll add another bank. Because, you know, his passion is like, he knows what he's doing, he knows what he hears, he's Johnny on the fucking spot when it comes to ITC. You cannot fucking tell, dude, I'll have you in a fucking conversation with us once and we'll talk ITC. You cannot tell this guy anything he hasn't already thought of or done.
Yep. I feel like that when I try to come up with new equipment because I think Jeremy has already done it. You know?
Well, yeah, it could be a thought that went through his mind. He just didn't act on it. If you act on it, it's different. You know what I mean? You act on what you think. It's just like, you know, I bring this up or that up or saying, you know, what do you think about this, Dan? He's like, fucking done it. Fucking sucked.
Yeah, it didn't work.
You know, and that's the thing that I love about Roberts is that he fucking tells you what's on his mind, and that's the big difference. Now, not a whole bunch of people know in the community that him and Steve Huff used to be friends, but a lot of people do. There's pictures out there on the fucking internet with Steve Huff sitting there holding the Echovox.
Yep.
You know,
yeah, I've seen those actually.
They're fucking out there. I've seen them myself. You know, and you know, in the beginning, it's all great and fine and dandy. Then people start reaching and going their own directions, and they either make that decision that they're going to roll over this motherfucker to get to where they're going to go, or they're going to fucking stay straight and do it legitimately. Now, I just told everybody listening here that, you know, Danny wouldn't fucking bite on the fucking second bank because he was like, well, you know, they should hear it, you know, yeah, fucking do it this way, do that. But I don't want to fucking do the demon, fucking spirit, you know, putting words out there that are going to fuck with people and make people not dig it. You know what I mean? Like he was, he's like, I don't want to be that guy. I want my shit to fucking be legitimate. And that's just one of the things that a lot of people don't know about the real Danny that I know. And why I have so much love and respect for the fucking asshole is because he's a fucking good person and he doesn't want to steal from you.
Yep. No, he's a good dude. And like you were even saying, with what he puts into Echovox and whatnot, just the customization that you have for it, you know? Like, you want to try something different, you can do it. You can change all of the effects. He's not giving you something that says, okay, this is the only way it can go and you can't change anything about it. He's giving you the freedom to do whatever you want with it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I respect that a lot because
the option is a good thing to have. You know what I mean?
Yep. You gotta have options.
It's a good thing to have. That's one of the things that, you know, is like I love so much about the Keith app, fucking Spiritus, is an awesome application, and it gives you the quick, easy punch the button and you get the effect. Well, a lot of people get lost in Echovox 3.0 because they were so used to how 2.0 was. You just had a couple of sliders, you hit a button, and you were good. You know, as soon as you figure out your volume settings on Echovox, you're pretty much good to go. But when 3.0 came out, it was a whole new thing, dude, with the reverb and the echo and the speed and, you know, recording everything. You know, it was just a lot for people to take in, and a lot of people don't want to have to fuck with that while they're on location. You know, but when you fuck with it enough, you learn that you can save your settings, and you go on location and you hit one button and you're done.
Yep. Once you get it dialed in to what you like,
right?
You just roll with it.
You save it and you're good to go, no matter where you're at. So, yep. I mean, you know, and Danny's fucking had, you know, the same thing, dude. You know, when he first started out, everybody fucking loved it, and then boom, the attacks came. And it's happened to me, dude, just in the short time that I've had our Echovox version out. People coming. They just fucking want to fucking tell me to fuck off, and make sure you tell Danny I said fuck off too, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're just haters. You know, yep. the guy has a knack. And like I say, as much as I know Steve Huff, he's got a knack. He's got these guys all came up together. Let's not fucking forget that.
Yep.
Let's not forget this generation of people that are fucking controlling, you know, not controlling, but the major influences of what we all want to go out and do on our weekends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these guys fucking really put a lot of time in. Steve, Danny, fucking Steve Holte, same fucking thing, man. I mean, those guys did a lot of shit, and they all hate each other. Every fucking one of them. They want to kill each other.
The biggest amount of hate in the paranormal community is in the ITC field, in my opinion.
Right.
It literally is. Everybody thinks that their way is the only way to do it. You know what I mean? And I can't buy into that. I feel like you have to continue to.
You take a guy like Brian. You take a guy like Holloway. Take a guy like Holloway. You know, he goes out and he fucking does what he does. And there's this fucking bitch in the field, and I'm gonna say it, and I don't care what the fuck happens. You guys can attack me all you want. I guarantee you, I'm gonna reach more people. Cat Angel. You ever heard this fucking girl?
Yes. Oh, I know, dude. That's the chick that went out and like put freaking Steve Huff's address out and all sorts of shit.
Dude,
that is wrong, dude.
What
that is so wrong.
Fucking piece of work this lady is. Holy shit. I mean, she's gone after everyone in this field. They've had they've had people pretending to die and fucking because they killed themselves over being bullied and this whole fucking thing. This is actually how I met Brian Holloway. You know that?
Really?
Oh, no, dude, no. He was doing his weekly, you know, chat on his shit, and then he became under attack. And it was all this Cat Angel and her fucking retarded cronies and, you know, her Burt Reynolds fat-looking fucking boyfriend. You know, they lay there in bed and do these live videos. And I'm like, is that guy fucking dead? Or is he asleep? I mean, because he looks dead. But, you know, listening to all this shit that they're talking. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I started hearing Brian come out. He's like, they said this. They threatened me. And then I started looking into what Brian actually did as far as all of his applications. I started going to the Google Play Store because they're cheap. I just started picking them up. And I was like, well, what's he doing that people are so fucking mad at him about? And then I started watching his videos on YouTube, and I was like, he's not doing anything wrong. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's pretty cool, you know? So I friended him up, dude, you know, and was like, hey, you know, how you doing? You know, we stayed friends for a while before I even really talked to him about anything. I didn't know he was on a television show. I didn't know any of that shit, dude. I was just like, here's a guy that likes the paranormal, and he's being attacked. And so I started looking at the attackers, and it turned out to be this fucking catfish angel fucker or whatever her name is. And you start watching her videos, dude, and oh my God. Everything that is wrong in the paranormal community is in her fucking profile picture. Go look at her.
It is. Dude, like, even the videos that, you know, I haven't seen in many of the videos about Brian, but I've seen a ton of videos of her hating on Steve, and even I think they even have a channel that's called like Bluff Paranormal.
Yeah.
That's just dedicated
That's
to
what they do.
bashing Steve.
That's what they do. And honestly, when they hear this, I'll be fucking right in their shit. And I don't care. I really don't. I don't care. You can fish up my whole arrest record. Just remember the part where I kidnapped somebody and shot their fucking mother.
Right. Don't put that out on yourself.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and censor that. But no, honestly, I mean, dig out my past. I don't give a fuck. I don't got anything to hide, dude. I'm just fucking, I'm just me. But I have fallen into it a little bit on this show. I have talked in the ill manner towards some things. But there, because I don't agree with you, I've never one time said you're not legit. But there's some fucking fake bullshit going on here. And if you just put a disclaimer on your fucking video, I won't have anything to say. Because it's up to me. I watch Ghost Adventures. I watch all the fucking shows. Do I believe everything that they're showing me? If I've won the gold in last week's Special Olympics, maybe. But I don't believe it. I don't fucking believe everything I see on TV. I'm not that gullible. But do I believe it's all fake? No, I don't. I don't believe it's all fake. I don't believe it's all fake.
Yep, I totally agree. And that's one of the reasons, I really, when I was starting out, watching Ghost Adventures, they put out an episode called The Seattle Demon House. Now, don't tell me how I know this. I've watched every single episode and pretty much every paranormal show that's out there. I love it. You know what I mean? Right. But again, I take it as entertainment. But they put out that episode where they went through the whole episode and didn't catch one piece of evidence. And the fact that they're even willing to put that out, it turned me on to them even more. Right. You know what I mean? Because I can't tell you how many times I've went out on investigations and spent 8-12 hours investigating and not got a damn thing. Right. You know what I mean?
Hey, I have to do this real quick. Hang on. The views and expressions expressed today are only of Dave Miller's. They do not represent Paranormal Response Team or Landon Wells. Okay, there we go.
Thank you for putting that disclaimer out.
Yeah, right. I keep talking about I keep talking about the fucking disclaimers on everybody else's shit. I had to do one for me.
There you go. And these views are only of my opinion.
Right. They're only my opinion and not of my guest, and that's the honest God truth, because it's easy to talk, but I'm just going off of what I see, and I see a lot of shit. I do. I see a lot of shit in a field, in a community that I really enjoy being a part of. And maybe by pointing it out to people that other people see it, there's nothing worse than watching paranormal people battle over fucking copyright infringement. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, you're not making Paranormal Activity 8, motherfucker. You are on YouTube. Okay? You don't want to be my friend anymore? Take the fucking video down. All right? Over. But when people start fucking talking about, I'm going to sue you for copyright infringement, dude. Well, I shot that video and it's mine, and dude, take it fucking down. You're not going to, just take it down. Get over it. It's over.
Yep. Just get over it, dude.
Just get over it.
Come up with something else. Yeah.
And I say this term a lot. Motherfuckers fighting over each other for filming invisible shit.
That's crazy that's even a thing.
You know what I mean? It's like, man, I got a way better shot of that motherfucking invisible thing, man. No, you did it, motherfucker. That was my shot. I was standing up on the motherfucking steps and everything. Nah, motherfucker, that shit was mine right there, dog. You see that motherfucking thing sliding across the counter? Yeah. Well, that was me filming it. And the motherfucker be like, that was me moving it, motherfucker.
Yeah. I even went through the same situation. I'm not going to say the group that I was with prior, but I spent a lot of time with them and gathering in evidence of my own, with equipment that I bought on my own and all this. And even when we started, Paranormal Response Team, some of the best evidence I put out there, on our team, because I gathered that, and they tripped the fuck out. You were part of our team, and that's our evidence. And all. You know what? All it took was them to say that one time, and I was like, you know what? That's fine. I deleted everything. we started our group with absolutely no evidence and started from ground zero.
Right.
But, you know, the fact that, you know, we started in like November of 2016, we're getting close to 2,000 likes on our Facebook. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, all of that stuff in the past doesn't matter. Do I have copies of everything that I got when I was with them? That's my personal evidence? Sure. But you're not going to see that on our page. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right, dude. But it's just so... You just rewind it, and for them even being angry over anything. You know what? I did learn some shit about Michigan. And this,
about what now?
About Michigan. Okay. The Michigan fucking... I don't mean fucking paranormal, but the Michigan... There's some kind of council there, or something, that controls all the teams. Like, they're like this little... You all right, man?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry.
What the fuck is going on in Georgia? God damn!
I don't even know.
Georgia. But,
it ain't me. They're not coming for me. Better start running.
Right? No shit. You're going to have some new investigating going on real quick, bro. Now, one of my favorite bands is from Georgia, Seven Dust.
Seven Dust, yeah, man.
Love them.
There's a lot of good bands from Georgia, man. There's a lot of good stuff from Georgia.
6 Speed, Rich Ward, fucking Stuck Mojo. God damn, dude, you in the heat down there. But you know, I don't know, dude. I don't know. We've gone on, dude. We've been on the air for over 3 hours. Can you believe that?
I really don't believe it because it doesn't feel like that long.
This is like one of the most legitimate fucking shows ever, dude. Because this is just friends talking, but. Hang on a second. The views and expressions expressed in this episode do not represent Paranormal Response Team or Landon Wells. They are only Dave Miller's. Okay, cool. I'm back.
You're gonna have to put that in every 10 minutes, just so you know they don't take.
Because it's just but everybody does kind of agree. And you know what? I put a post up saying that I was kind of sad in the very beginning. The first quit. Not the first quit, but the first quit on this recent Steve Huff quit thing. I put up a thing and I was like, wow, it's a trip to see all this, go down, And dude, holy shit. I had to delete it because I got tired of people fucking coming on, fuck Steve Huff and he's fucking fake and I'm so glad this is happening and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, wow, I was just saying, regardless of what he's done, it's sad to see somebody go that's, so well known in the field is what I was basically saying. I was like, I don't agree with what Steve Huff does, but still, I don't fucking, and I became totally under attack. And I was like, I need to get rid of this shit off my page because I was just kind of like saying bye to an icon to show a little respect. But holy shit, dude, did the community come at me. They came at me, dude. And I can talk some shit, but I just chose to be quiet and delete.
Yep. But at the end of the day, dude, whether you believe what he does or what he says at all, you cannot deny the fact that he has brought a ton of people to the field.
Right.
And I respect that 100%.
What do you think about the low files? What do you think about the lows and doing
the
what they're
low
doing?
files? Yeah. So I think maybe last night they put out their third episode. I've only seen the first two.
Did you see him puking over the fucking boat?
Yes, dude. And dude, that's one of the things that I respect so much about that show.
Right.
I caught all the mistakes. So, like the first episode, they called the SB7 the Ovulus.
Right.
Whatever, dude. The thing is they don't really know what's going on, so they bring this realness factor to it.
Yeah, and
the fact that he was hanging over the boat, puking his guts up.
Paranormal people,
real, dude. That's what really happened.
The paranormal community was acting like fucking imbeciles over that show.
Yep.
They were so mad and so jealous and hating. And you're just like, what in the fuck are you saying? How dare you go and film an invisible thing and not know what that instrument supposedly should possibly do? What the fuck? How does this hate exist over a dude? Because you're on TV. They're on TV. That's why.
That's the thing, dude, is people hate on him because they worked so long for them to get their shot on TV. And just because, he's a well-known dude and he's got those connections that he got that to happen, they're just jealous of it.
And you're absolutely right. It's just jealousy. It's just jealousy.
But I like that, the sense of them not knowing what's going on, because you're really getting real reactions from them as they're doing this stuff. Like, it's legit.
Wait till we hunt. Wait till we hunt, bro. Yeah. Wait till we hunt. You get real reaction from me because I'm tripping the fuck out. Because when shit goes down in the room, believe me, the new episode of Paranormal Disorder that's coming up, I'm in this episode. And there's not much of me in the episode because everything that I said at the time I was in the episode had to be edited out.
You're just cussing a storm up.
Yeah, I'm cussing, man. I'm fucking scared. Who is not going to fucking cuss when they're scared? You'd be like, goddamn shit, fuck, what was that? What the fuck was that shit moving over there in the back corner? Goddamn! That's me ghost hunting, dude. I get fucking scared. But I'm
sure Nick was sitting there editing it, being like, "Damn, we got all this footage, but we can't use it on the day."
But that's how it goes, dude. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's just me being me and being real and affected, because I don't want to be a professional and I don't know how to work all my fucking ghost gear. I learn it as I go, right?
Yep.
Go out there and see these guys. A guy and his kids out doing some shit that they've obviously been doing for a very long time. This isn't nothing new for their family. Fuck, they've got family footage of them Bigfoot hunting and shit when their kids were just knee high, So it's obviously there's some legitimacy going to it, and of course there's some Hollywood going into it, but it's because there's a fucking actor in the movie, and we all know in this show, and we all know that he has the ability to act. But is he?
Yep. And I really like the factor that they're not just going to, spots where ghosts are. They're really researching crazy, like different things that nobody else has.
Right.
It's not just ghosts. It's Bigfoot. It's
UFOs.
What was in this? Yeah, UFOs. The second episode was like some UFO base under the water or something like that. Right. I like that, because that's different from what we have right now.
Right.
Well, we don't have anything like that. Sure, there's Bigfoot shows and there's UFO shows.
All the Bigfoot shows are canceled now.
All the Bigfoot shows?
Yeah, I believe so. I could be wrong, but I believe the last one just got canceled not long ago. Hunting Bigfoot or some shit.
How many episodes can you make with not really getting anything, what I mean?
Well, yeah, you're chasing the world hide-and-seek champion.
Right?
But,
I don't really have an opinion on it. I've never experienced any Bigfoot or anything. I've never even sought that out. But
there's been sightings in that part of them there, Georges.
Yeah, I know. There's tons. I grew up most of my life in North Carolina, and there's actually a whole restaurant that's dedicated to Bigfoot. And it's just a cool experience to even go in there. But, there's people that are die-hard believe in Bigfoot. And I'm not going to sit here and deny it. I have no evidence.
I can see somebody walking the fucking swamps or backwoods of fucking Louisiana, and they run up on some dude and he'd be like, "What you looking for?" We're looking for Bigfoot. Ain't no Bigfoot around here, motherfucker, except a foot going up your ass if you turn around and tell where my still is. You know what I mean? How many fucking stills have been discovered by people who are searching for Bigfoot? You know why they don't tell you? Because they didn't make it.
Yep. Yep. You
don't fuck with no hillbillies whiskey, boy. It'll be over for you quick.
Hell no. And that, dude, I know you had the guys on from Deep South Paranormal, and dude, I think they only had one season of their show, but dude, I just laughed my ass off the whole time. I mean, they're just some good old country boys. You know what I mean?
Great fucking Kevin and Randy are top notch, dude. And I have nothing but love and respect for those guys. Hart is really, really hard to settle him down for an interview. He is difficult to talk to, bro. I mean, he just goes and goes and goes, and then you ask him a question, and you end up on I don't know, just Paranormal Island somewhere. But I love Mark. But that's what I'm saying. You have all these guys of such different backgrounds, but they're that Southern paranormal people are gifted for the certain reason of voodoo and down south fucking spiritual beliefs that don't carry over onto the West Coast. There's a whole different thing going on down south because they got that Louisiana voodoo, they got that fucking backwoods, straight New Orleans, just French Quarter, fuck you up voodoo. And that shit spread through the whole South. But it capitalized in Louisiana, but it spread through the whole South. So they understand a whole different side of things down south than they do on the West Coast. You could say some shit to them about what you're experiencing down there, and nobody would even be able to register it because they just have no knowledge of it. So there's a like you said earlier in the show, I love to go to these places. I'm sure people on the West Coast will love to come to these places. It's very true. But I honestly think that the balance, that yin and yang, have to be that way, because if you took a West Coast investigator into some of these, some of the cemeteries and shit in New Orleans, I don't think they could cope.
It's a different spiritual aspect for sure.
Right.
From what's here and what's over there. I spent a summer. This is crazy, man. When I graduated high school, me and my brother always had a dream of just taking a road trip to California and just spending a summer in California. Well, my brother ended up getting married and doing his own thing. And when I graduated high school, I was like, I still want to do this. So I ended up taking a Greyhound bus, like no shit, from Georgia all the way to San Diego.
Damn.
It took like three and a half days on a Greyhound bus,
right.
24 hours a day. It was the worst experience of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I went out there, dude, and I ended up getting a job being that annoying guy who knocks on your door and sells you magazines and stuff. But like, dude, I did so well over there just because of my accent for one. So, like, people are like, oh yeah, just keep talking to me.
Hey, come here, Martha. Listen, a Southerner's on our door. He's selling us Time Life. Let's buy some. He sounds legit.
I mean, I can't tell you how many hours of my life I spent like trying to explain this shit to people just because they wanted to hear me talk. But I'm sure even if I went out there, dude, and investigated, I never got that opportunity while I was there. But I wouldn't even put it past the spirits to make fun of me while I'm out there. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, like I say, you've been talking, and the whole it's going to happen. And when you come out here, it's going to be fucking on, because I know where we're going if Corey lets me in. But
oh, it's a done deal. That's already sealed, signed, and delivered.
Honestly, she honestly likes me to come there because shit gets crazy, and she's just like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about when you come in here, but shit just gets nuts. And I'm honored by that because I love the experience, and it's like the consistency of McDonald's. Like, if you have a fucking cheeseburger at your house, it tastes like a cheeseburger. You have one in Savannah, it tastes like a fucking cheeseburger from McDonald's. It's the same taste. Yep. And every time I go back there, I have that same experience of just it being so intense. The last time was kind of an open ghost hunt, I guess you could say. It was a benefit, and I didn't really have too much time to vibe on everything because there were so many people in there. And to them, there probably wasn't a lot of people, but to me, it was like I was in the fucking Madison Square Garden. I love my hunts to be very personal and very close. If I'm with a ring of people, with 5-6 people, I'm straight. That's as much as I need to go. Anything after that, then I'm just worried about what the fuck is, is that even real? Did I hear what I heard? Was that her over there talking about fucking Justin Bieber's new fucking album?
Yep. That's why I have such a problem with public hunts. I mean, we don't do anything unless we rent the whole place out.
Well, and that's one of the things, I've been lacking on my videos and stuff because I want to go out and fucking do some shots and some stuff. And I want to go out and I'm waiting for my spirit box to get here. And now I'm waiting for fucking 2 amazing spirit boxes to get here. Go out and fucking do, my thing. But it's just like, I can barely, it's usually just me and the wife that roll out. And
that's the best way, man.
I can't fucking do it with a lot of people. And that's why I was so disappointed in Virginia City. Because I pulled into town on a Wednesday, and it was almost like I was in Aspen in the middle of fucking November.
Yeah,
I was like, what is going on here? So, I was sitting at the washoe with a friend having a fucking drink, and boom, started getting bumped and shit from the back. And it was like I was in an airplane with a fucking annoying kid behind me. But there was actually really a fucking annoying kid behind me bumping into my bar stool because he was on a ghost tour.
Oh, jeez.
So it's kind of like, Virginia City to me is not the Virginia City that all those people were there to see. I wanted it to be like I saw it on TV, dead and quiet and... but no, it was a tourist trap, dude. It was like fucking Disneyland for ghost hunters. And I didn't want to do it. I was just like, this fucking sucks for me right now.
That's a lot of places now that they've been on TV. Anything that's been on Ghost Adventures is like that.
Same thing.
I mean, it's a huge tourist trap nowadays.
Lava
That's
Hot
why
Springs.
I'm such a fan of getting into these places that have either never been investigated or have not been investigated by these huge groups,
Yeah.
The unknown places. Those are the best.
Right. It was, dude, and I agree. I actually now I had a very well-known person in the paranormal community on last night with Scott, and he totally is against what I love the most are residentials. I love going into people's house and hear them fucking tell me what's wrong, what they're afraid of, and then I get to experience it myself. Is there something here, or do they got a really strong air conditioner?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's something about that mystery of,
right.
Someone else hasn't been in here to actually document anything.
So
it's the sense of unknown.
Right.
You
Any active fucking house, I believe that the spirits in that house are so much stronger than your average Disneyland ghost, because I believe the people in the house are actually fueling it.
Yep.
Like it's alive off of them. It's this weird thing, but I honestly prefer a residential haunting to any fucking ghost tour any day of the week.
Hands down. Yep, I totally agree with that. And again, it goes back to, these spirits don't have these major groups that come in or whatnot, and when they finally get that opportunity to communicate, they know what's going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when you get there, they know what's going on, and they're just oftentimes you'll see that they're just super eager to finally get to say what they've been trying to communicate with these people living in this house for so long, but they just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Or they just aren't on that same level of communication with them. So when you bring in these devices that are well known and have that ability to make that contact, I mean, they just go crazy with it.
And they do, because
some of the best evidence I ever got was from residentials.
Right? How can you argue it when they're like, "Oh my God, it said his name."
Yep.
And you're like, "Whose name?" And they're like, "Well, the fucking guy that died here."
Yep.
You're like, "Okay,
and you had no clue about that.
We're on to something now. We could be. I'm not Steve Huff, but we're getting replies." That was a Steve Huff joke, but it just wasn't. Hang on a second. The views and expressions expressed on this show are not of Landon's and Paranormal Response Team. They are only Dave Miller's. Okay.
Again, thank you for that.
Right. Well, I don't want to. I can't include you in my madness, but I'm having fun tonight. I needed this. It's been a great talk, man. It really has. I can't wait to have you back. Can't wait to fucking
Yeah,
have
dude.
you back.
Yeah, I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
Oh,
so
definitely. Definitely.
I'll be honored to come back on.
You got to come back on.
Definitely once we get out there, we'll have a lot more to talk about.
Absolutely, but you got to come back when I get the box.
Yes, dude. I cannot wait
I will
get this.
I will run it through the board, and we'll go through it and play it and let people hear live samples of everything that's going on, and we'll have a great time with it. Landon, Wells, Paranormal Response Team. Do you have any websites? Facebook?
Yeah.
Or
So
emails?
you guys can, you just search on Facebook, Paranormal Response Team. We're the only ones out there. You can also go to paranormalresponseteam.com. You can go to georgiaghosthunters.com. All that directs to our website, and you can reach out to us there if you want one of these Connect cams that I make. You can reach out to me on Facebook.
Amazing.
Through the group or the website, whatever. I'm still working on the equipment page of our actual website. So you just go to our contact us page and send me a message. I'll get back to you. I'm pretty prompt with it. I mean, I have people that go out on investigations at 3:00 in the morning and they call me and they're like, one of these settings on my camera is not right. How do I fix it?
Right.
I answer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm there to take care of people.
I think you definitely established that tonight, Landon. I mean, it's fucking your personality and the gear that you're behind, the gear that you endorse. I mean, it's all first-class shit. You guys are first-class people. Paranormal Response Team on Facebook. Look them up. I'm going to be, as soon as I get my ghost boxes here, I'm actually going to go out and start doing some more filming and doing some stuff. So I'm just waiting. Jeremy! Landon?
Jeremy! Hey.
Landon?
Hey, mine's coming, man. I'm waiting on it to get back.
I know.
I
I gotta tease you both. I mean, when you're busy, you're doing your thing. And, my camera that I got from you guys is absolutely fantastic. It's big as fuck, too, man. That screen is nice. Good 10-inch screen on that thing.
That 10-inch screen changes it, man.
Absolutely. I mean, you see everything. But it has been an honor to talk to you tonight, and we're going to have you back, soon. As soon as that box gets here, we'll rock it again, dude. We'll do it, because I've got limited shows for the rest of the month. I want to come back in the following month. I'm going to be more R-rated.
Right.
But
you're going to let me off of here, and you're not going to ask me the one question you ask every paranormal investigator. And that's all right, man. I've been thinking about it hard.
Okay, I'm going to ask you. 2 pieces of gear, man. You go into a place, what are you going to take?
There you go. So I've been thinking mad hard about this because I knew you were going to ask me. So I really wanted to figure out what can I get the most out of when I go to an investigation, and that's a really tough question. When I hear you ask that to other people, it's
2 pieces, man. You got 2 pieces to take into any location. 2 pieces of gear. That's it. One for each hand.
I'm not going to say this because I actually built it, but I would definitely take the SLS camera, and for 3 reasons, and I'll give you those reasons. 1, it doubles as an infrared camera, so you're catching video. Right. 2, you're getting the aspect of using the skeleton figures, right? So you can base your investigation off of what you're seeing. And then 3, you also get audio that records directly from the tablet too. So you're getting all 3 of those applications. So I'm going to choose that simply for that. Number 2 has to be, I don't know if you'll let me incorporate a spirit box with an app or whatnot, but if you don't, then
of course.
Absolutely. So that's what I would do. And if I had to choose between an app, it's definitely Ethereal box. I die hard Ethereal box.
Ethereal's
second
the shit.
Choice Spiritist.
No hate here, dude. But it's Ethereal box is it's not right. It's so right. It's not right.
That will probably change when your new one comes out.
I know it's going to be difficult. I'm looking forward to hearing it. But, dude, honestly, nothing but respect and love for you, man. You're a good person. Again, none of the statements tonight were directed at anybody else but coming out of my mouth. I did not mean to offend anybody. If I did, fuck you. Okay.
Dave, thank you, man, for having me on. I really appreciate it, dude. It was an honor to be on your show.
Absolutely.
And I hope that we can come back and do this again.
Absolutely, dude. We did 3.5 hours, man. Are you fucking kidding me? There's more to be talked about. So come back again, man. Come back again. And I'll talk with you. You know what? Stay on the line with me real quick and I'll tell you something.
Okay.
All right. So anyways, guys, we are done for the evening. Thank you so much for joining us on this fucking trek of a 3.5 hour show. Holy shit.
Thanks for tuning in to 51 Areas Paranormal Talk Radio.